Blackline Brief starts now.
What is up, everybody? Happy Sunday afternoon. No, evening. Happy Sunday evening. Oh, my throat. Hopefully I don't have to put a cough drop in because somebody emailed me. I do have misophonia. And one of the only episodes where I broke all my rules of not making noise into the mic was when I was like really sick and I had cough drops and it was like giving feedback. Even my brother-in-law was like, try not to do the cough drops, bro. It's coming across in the mic. So, all right, I'll just have to use my button throughout the show. But welcome in, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Blackline Brief. I'm your host, Matthew McKim, and happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Christ is King, and we are all here together. And I'm so glad that you guys are here for a good show. In doing continual research into these characters and things that they've said publicly since Charlie Kirk's assassination. I went back. If you guys remember, I showed the video of Andrew Wilson on the Whatever podcast where on September 12th, 2025, he couldn't be more suspicious of the official narrative. Brian Atlas was trying to convince Andrew that Eagle Boy on the Losi Center roof had a rifle. Boy, was Brian trying really hard. It didn't work. It didn't work. Andrew was like, nah, there's nothing in his hand. There's nothing there, especially not a 1943 42 to 49 inch Mauser 98. Not even broken down. It ain't there. I went back through that and I found two really interesting things, and then we'll continue to listen to a little bit more of it together because I think it's important. People don't realize, I don't know. I don't know how smart these people truly are. At what degree have they been connected to TPUSA and when? But I found him making two very, very odd statements, of which I called Zach Costello right away and told him about it. And then we talked for a while about just Andrew in general. And then I told some people in an X space and I shared it with them and I did a post on X about it. And I was like, please don't run with it too big because I really want to show it tonight. But I gave it to everybody to share if they wanted. But it is telling, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to look at that. And I got a bunch of other stuff to look at as well. So it's going to be a great show. Hopefully everybody filters in. No one else is live right now. So as we get in and get settled, please do me a favor and hit the like. Please smash the like. For me, it is the best way to help support the channel. If you're not already subscribed, hit the subscribe, and I appreciate it. All right. I already put in that poll. We're at 92% right now, think and agree that Andrew Wilson is working directly for TPUSA. 8% say no. Maybe I should have done a third option as like, partially or after the fact or something. I don't know. Maybe I could have worded that better because I wonder what that 8% actually think, or if they just think he's completely doing this solely on his own, which I definitely don't think so, especially because if you guys remember the clip of Andrew explaining in his own words what the operation was during the Candace Owens debate. He called it Operation Let Her Speak. And I've never heard anyone say that before, but I've heard someone say it since with a different person in a different setting. And that person would be Andrew Kolvet. He said the exact same phrase in regard to Hassan Piker. So this is a mindset, an operation, let them speak. And the fact that the two of them said the same thing in two different videos on two different settings, completely by themselves, about two different people, lead me to believe that they, not just that, that's just another thing to me that points to that they're in communication and collaborating and, brainstorming and deciding on their approach, because their shared goal, one of their main things that they have in common is that they want to take down the crazy liberal left. That is their shared enemy. Above all else, that is it. And I think that, yeah. All right, I didn't have a rest to finish that sentence, and I'm about to cough again. I really hope that'll go away. All I did was drink a bunch of water. All right, you guys, let's get into it. Oh, my lower third's not up. There we go. All right, let's get into it. Why is it small like that? Oh, it's because I need to do that. Does that make it even now? Yes. All right.
It sort of has a impact on all of us. So I just, you and me, we've known each other for a couple years, and I don't think either of us
We've
wants
been
to
friends for a long time.
Yeah.
And the thing is like, I get it. My wife, she just smiled and she was like, thank God for Brian, because what happened, I got the close up. I don't know if it was before anybody, but it was very, very, very early on, before basically anybody I saw had it. It was sent over to me by somebody who was at the event. And
what? Wait, what? Did you guys catch that? Did you guys catch that? He was, so this podcast is taking place on September 12th, 2025, 2 days after Charlie was murdered. And Andrew is saying on here that he was sent a video from someone on the ground at UVU. Someone close to Charlie, like in proximity, and sent it before most anyone else saw it. Doesn't say that he shared a video link, a link that was already circulating. I think it's important that words do matter. Someone that does debates like this does choose their words, well, should be choosing their words wisely. I don't think this is him not really clarifying his position, in my opinion. I think he's telling us exactly what happened. That someone on the ground at UVU, and he's about to say kind of who. He's gonna say what the person's job description title is, which is even more interesting. Sent him a video directly, a video of Charlie Kirk being murdered before most everyone else.
Because I got the close up. I don't know if it was before anybody, but it was very, very, very early on, before basically anybody I saw had it. It was sent over to me by somebody who was at the event, and he was in law enforcement.
He was in law enforcement basically before anyone else that he ever saw had it themselves. Everybody understands that's been part of this online investigation. The videos are so important for us, okay? There are so many videos that still exist on people's phones, on high-quality cameras, that none of us have seen. We don't want them because we want to relive watching Charlie murdered. Nope. We're doing this for investigative purposes. We want to see different angles, different quality, different frame rates, different angles, so that we can ascertain more information about before the Big Bang, people's body, their positions, what they were doing, what they were saying, signaling. People may not even know what they have on their phone. People may not even realize that they captured, by taking a selfie, the Losi Center rooftop, and we might have a clear photo or a video of Eagle Boy. And so for someone like Andrew, who says he's invested in this for the right reasons, and now is getting, evidence leaked to him so that he can drip it out each day on his show or each week on his show, my call is to release the footage that was sent to you and release the contact. Why was there? So this wasn't a uniformed police officer. There's no way. All right. All the uniformed police officers after the assassination went to work. Okay. I don't agree with what decisions they made, and I don't think that they worked really well and they didn't really do their job. But none of the uniformed police officers stopped to send Andrew Wilson a video, at least in my opinion. So my opinion is that there's a plainclothes police officer there, probably off duty, maybe be on on assignment for something else. I don't know. Maybe it's someone on the security team, and he didn't want to divulge that it's someone on the security team because many of the Charlie Kirk's security team members were former police officers. So I'd like to know who that person is, and I'd like to see that video. Okay, we're going to need to see the video. All right, more truth, Mr. Truth, Mr. Transparency, Mr. In it for the right reasons. Okay. Also, he's about to say something else in a second, but I want to point out that this guy's not about truth. Okay, I'm being a little bit antagonistic, I guess, because the other night when he did his, magic reveal, right? He played an audio version of an audio clip of Charlie, which there is a video that goes along with that audio. And there's a longer portion of it, which I played. It's the Grant Cardone, Charlie Kirk 10X conference statement. When Charlie Kirk is asked, does he get death threats? Is he concerned about the death threats? And he goes, yeah, we get death threats from crazy leftists all the time. That doesn't bother me. Like, no, that doesn't concern me. I'm not worried about that. That happens all the time. We take necessary precautions. We're good. But it's the people in my inner circle, people that are currently in my inner circle or that used to be, people that betrayed me, lied to me, backstabbed me, people that told me I shouldn't, couldn't, or wouldn't do something. Andrew Wilson cut that whole part out, and he misrepresented what Charlie was actually saying. He cut a middle portion out. He cut the end completely off, and then he put two things together to make it sound like Charlie was saying he was afraid of the left. He never said that in that conference. I've played it multiple times. He never said that in that conference. So, and then, the whole text message thing, right? Like, he took precautions to make sure that there was no way we could validate and verify it, right? And Baron Coleman played a good clip of him tonight talking about the Penguich receipt. His criticism to Candace Owens in the debate about the Penguich receipt, allegedly from Tyler Robinson, and I believe so, is that Candace didn't call the merchant or get a hold of the merchant to validate and verify the authenticity of the receipt, even though she spoke to the restaurant owner, eyewitness, spoke to the server, eyewitness, spoke to Diligent, who also interviewed them, eyewitness. All of that meets the bar for the preliminary hearing as evidence. That's what she meant by 1102, right? Like, she did at least, if not more, what the prosecution has done this entire time as they present evidence. Well, yeah, it's eyewitness. There's Lance Twiggs on Zoom. Just listen to him. Yeah, just listen to him. So his critique of her is that any evidence that she brings out that isn't validated, verified, confirmed, then it's not real. And then she's not really in it for the right reasons, and she's not being honest and transparent. Oh, okay. The same is true for you, buddy, old pal, and Andrew Kolvet and Gary Melton and TPUSA, because many text messages and photos and other correspondence have been leaked out on behalf of TPUSA by TPUSA through Andrew Kolvet to Gary Melton and now to you. And you didn't take any of those steps to prove that this text is from Charlie. We have times on it. We don't have a date frame. Oh, I think it did say September 9th at the top. Strike that. It did say September 9th, but there wasn't any validation. There's no metadata. There's no way to confirm or deny who is it that's sending this. I know Barron touched on it tonight, and I agree, and we can look at it, that it appears to be Telegram, okay? And it appears to be to Brian Harple, okay? Because he's the one that would make the statement, my team of 11, right? And that's referenced in that text thread. But still, if their goal was to dispel suspicion from TPUSA and to, clap back at Candace Owens with any of her allegations or I don't know, what's another word besides allegations? Theories, beliefs, feelings. They could have taken many, many more steps to release this text message with everything else included so that we would be like, holy smokes, that's real. That is a real text from Charlie Kirk. But it didn't. And it may very well be real, right? And after speaking with Zach today, I'm in agreement with him that even if Charlie was somewhat concerned that the left might kill him, that doesn't mean that he wasn't also equally afraid that Israel might kill him. Okay? They're not mutually exclusive. It's not a either or, it's a both and. Also, we would need to define the left. Barron touched on this tonight. Defining the left through the lens of Charlie Kirk. What would Charlie Kirk have meant by the left? He sure as heck didn't mean some crazy transferry 20-something-year-old Utonian leftist, okay? But a bigger network of people that could coordinate, right? And to put together an actual plan in order to carry out an assassination. So, yeah, I don't think I missed anything. So, the other thing that I want to show you guys is that Andrew Wilson is he's not here for transparency. He took his video down yesterday, all right? This is his Rumble account. When I looked up the video, it's gone. This video is restricted, private. And then if we go to his YouTube, it's gone. The only one that's here now is the one from 3 days ago. Okay, it's completely gone. It's not even made re-uploaded as a video. That's what he's done with some other ones. Yeah, it's completely gone. Okay, so this guy is, and speaking with Zach, who is also a creator. If you're going to do a live, and this is just how I conduct myself, and Zach is the same. If you're going to do a live, leave it up. Leave it up. Whatever you're going to say in the live, stand behind it like a man. Okay? But from what I was told from someone that used to be associated with Andrew, is that this is what Andrew does. He'll do a live. He makes it so you can't pause, rewind, cut, clip, and replay it. On YouTube, at least. On the Rumble, it allowed me to do that. On YouTube, never allowed you to do that. Then he pulls it down. He edits it. So he actually takes out portions. Somebody had emailed me and told me from that 3 days ago, when he took the live down and then uploaded, it was missing around 12 something minutes. He bleeps out all the foul language. takes out portions that, I don't know, he doesn't stand behind. He'll say it live in front of his community that are donating thousands of dollars to him, and then he edits it out. This is just more, in my opinion, that speaks to the character, the lack of character development of Andrew Wilson. Okay. The way that he conducts himself is nothing like Charlie Kirk, but it is very much how Andrew Kolvet and Blake Neff conduct themselves. They are three peas in a pod. And in fact, remember when Andrew Kolvet had Andrew Wilson on the other day, he was like, I like how you do your, I like how you run, your debates and interact with people and how you conduct yourself online. I like it. I respect it. So, all right, let's get back, because he's about to say something crazy as well. And remember, this is on September 12th.
And he said, Andrew, all he said was this. He was like, I don't think so. And I knew exactly what he meant. I knew exactly what he meant when he said, I don't think so. And and what he was saying to me too there was like, tell me I'm wrong, right? Like, please tell me I'm wrong, when he said, I don't think so. And what I sent back to him is, I don't think so either. And my wife, she was crying. She was like, no, there's no way. He's not dead. He's not dead. And I after I saw that video, right, I said, don't look at this. But I'm confident he's gone. And she was bawling, you know what I mean? Now, about an hour later, some of those close-ups were being released, and she was scrolling through Twitter. And like many women and many of you in the audience, they saw the horrific nature once the close-ups were there. And she dropped her phone because it was gut-wrenching. I told her not to look, but I don't think there's any avoiding it.
All right, he says a lot here about the graphic nature of the video, how it affected him, how it affected his wife when she watched it. But the part that I want to get to, and let me just address a couple things real quick. I saw this come in real quick. Well, thank you for becoming a member, Catfish. Thank you for the gift, Carmen San Diego. Granny loves Jesus. Get some burritos or some Paleo Valley sticks for your late nights here. Matt, use code Candace for a discount. Much love. Just sharing the love for you and all. Maybe start with, if you're a shill for Philly, find Jesus. That's good. I like that. Jesus is Lord. Thank you, Granny. Thank you for becoming a member, Kathy. And so this is the one that I wanted to address. Andrew Wilson is not a man. Didn't you stream his garbage last night? Yeah, and I'm glad I did. I'm glad I did, because he deleted it. He deleted it. It's gone. So, and I was talking with Zach today, and he was like, bro, and I didn't know that he deleted it. Zach told me. And he's like, so I'm trying to watch what he did on your channel because I streamed it. And then I messaged Zach. I was like, well, check on Rumble. It might be up on Rumble if it's not up on his YouTube, because he did it in both places. And then before going live, I was looking, and it's not available on Rumble. It's gone. It's just gone. So, and what we're looking at tonight is from September 12th. Okay. And I don't know, K-Jax, if you missed the opener, but he said that a police officer on the ground at UVU, close up to Charlie, sent him a video of Charlie being murdered before anyone else got one. And I don't think it's a video that was already circulating online. It doesn't make sense why he would reference someone on the ground at UVU sent him a video. Okay. And it is the same officer, not active, like I not a UVU police officer, just a police officer at UVU, is also about to tell him this next statement that he's about to say, which is insane. Andrew Wilson and Andrew Kolvet, both liars and thieves. The company you keep. Yes. Yep. You are the company you keep.
Cascading effects it'll have on other people. But yeah, I saw the first one. I couldn't bear to watch it again. It was just like every time I've seen the clip pop up, I can't watch it again.
Now, leftists, by the way, Brian, have been trolling me by sending me AI memes of this in the most horrific fashion possible. They send them to me via DMs. I'm not going to show you any of these because they're
So immediately pushing the crazy left narrative. Okay. Pushing the crazy left narrative. And even they opened with Brian woke up and watched the video that morning on the 10th or 11th. I think it was on the 10th. Yeah, on the 10th. And then immediately was worried for Andrew and called Andrew. And they talked about that for a minute. We didn't need to listen to that. Talks about the video being sent by a police officer on the ground there. And now he's going to talk about like threats that he's received and that Brian's received, and the enemy here is the crazy left. Remember, this is just 2 days after. Okay. Just 2 days. Not knowing anything about who, what, when, where, why connected to killing Charlie Kirk.
they're god awful, but it's a jab towards me, along with many messages of, well, I won't even repeat those either. They're horrific. I can only imagine this too, an angle that many people have not thought of. If I'm getting those, a debater, right-winger in the sphere, who has even more right-wing views likely than Kirk himself did, can you even imagine what they're sending his poor wife?
Wants empathy, like trying to push this victim about Erica right away. I don't think anyone maybe was going to send Erica. Like, she didn't really have a big social media presence herself, for them to be sending hate mail to her. Maybe. But yeah, just the next part's coming is insane.
These horrible fucks are probably sending her the worst shit that you can imagine. And I'll say it here on this platform too. Tucker Carlson, he put out a give, send, go.
So here he's actually not promoting, but he's speaking positively about Tucker Carlson, right? Remember, he hates Tucker Carlson now. Okay. Hates Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens now. Then he's saying what a great thing Tucker Carlson did by creating a give, send, go immediately and putting $1 million of his own money to start the pot for Erica Kirk and her kids and Charlie's kids.
Put $1 million of his own money in that for a total of $4 million, which is what he's fundraising towards. The Wilsons are going to be contributing to that. I'm sure that that Brian will as well. But I'm asking you in the audience, remember that all the earning capacity of this man was completely eliminated in seconds. And remember that it's not just the horrific torture of his family having to see that live. I heard a story and confirmed that it looks like this is true, that when the shot was fired, his youngest daughter was terrified. And guess where she ran? She ran right towards the arms of her dad.
He knows. I'm going to back this up again. We got to listen to this a couple times. He knows absolutely nothing about Charlie Kirk, which is insane. Early on in this this video, Brian is like, because Charlie's been on the Whatever podcast. All right. So Brian has had personal interactions with Charlie. Charlie's been on there a couple times and he's debated OF girls and liberals. Okay. But Andrew just said Charlie's youngest daughter. Charlie had 2 kids. He had a girl, the oldest child, Gigi. And then he had Mac. And Mac was 1.5 and Gigi was 3.5 when Charlie was murdered. Andrew just said that he was told and he confirmed a story that it was confirmed from someone on the ground that when Charlie was assassinated, that Gigi was there and that Gigi saw him get murdered and that Gigi ran to Charlie but was stopped, and that Gigi then said, "Why can't I get to daddy?" This is on the 12th. Yes, there were stories circulating that supposedly Erica Kirk and the children were there. They were all lies, just total lies. I think to magnify our grief and our collective sympathy for Erica as part of the psyop and propaganda. But Andrew's pushing it on a whole new level, saying that he was confirmed. He confirmed it from someone on the ground. And the only person that could retell the story of what Gigi said out loud is if they're the person, the security guard that stopped Gigi. The story's completely false. Erica wasn't there. None of the kids were there that day. Why is Andrew saying this? Who is Andrew's source? Who's the police officer on the ground that sent him a video of Charlie being murdered that none of us have seen? Why is Andrew positioning himself as someone with connections to TPUSA even all the way back then? Why doesn't Andrew even know how many daughters Charlie has and how old the oldest child is, Gigi, the daughter, as compared to Mac, the youngest child? Andrew doesn't even know that. Yeah, I agree with Candace. He doesn't care about this. He doesn't even care to even know the facts about Charlie's life. And yet he gets on screen and acts like he has connections to Charlie and Charlie's team and to people on the ground and is acting like he cares. And don't overlook the statement, and the Wilsons, we're going to be donating a lot of money. There's no way to confirm that. Okay. And that's how disgusting a statement like that is publicly. If you're going to do something like that, you just do it. You don't say it on a live show for thousands in the audience to see and be like, wow, what a good guy. Even Andrew was like, I'm sure Brian Atlas is going to do it. Brian didn't say anything. He just kind of nods his head. Andrew knows that there's no way for us to verify if he donated anything at all. And keep in mind, that means he donated money to someone who he thought is retarded because he thought Erica Kirk is retarded. Okay. Because that money went personally to Erica. Let's back it up and hear the whole thing.
Horrific torture of his family having to see that live. I heard
the horrific torture of his family having to see that live. What's interesting is Dean, this guy that's part of the UNF America tour on September 10th or September 11th, I can't remember, did this horrible fake crying video where because this guy, Dean, I think Dean Withers, made Charlie's life hell all the time. He wasn't allowed at the events. And he did a video where he was crying. He also made the statement that Erica and the kids were there live. It's weird that Andrew's now saying he's pushing a propaganda point that people that are part of UNF America were pushing, and that people on the ground that were crisis actors that were waiting in the wings to run out and say Charlie was shot in the chest. We saw him get shot in the heart. He was shot in the chest. Those are some of the same crisis actors that said they were told or they saw or they heard that Erica and the kids were there that day and witnessed Charlie murdered live.
Story and confirmed that it looks like this is true, that when the shot was fired, his youngest daughter was terrified, and guess where she ran? She ran right towards the arms of her dad, and she was caught. And what I heard on the ground was she said,
what he heard on the ground. Okay. So at first he goes, and I'm not sure if this is true. He made a statement about that, but then he says, but he heard it on the ground. So meaning someone on the ground told him this. And who would have been able to tell him something like this? Who would have been able to call him and tell him this story, which is a lie, because Erica wasn't there, neither were the kids, that would have been close enough to hear Gigi scream those words, why can't I get to daddy? Who's this person that called Andrew Wilson? Did someone call Andrew Wilson and tell him this lie? Or is Andrew Wilson completely whole cloth making this whole thing up, this whole story?
Why can't I get to daddy? The most horrific thing you can ever imagine. And if you think that these fucking merciless bastards aren't sending that poor woman the most horrific shit you can imagine, you're wrong, because they are.
Some of the videos,
What is the next place?
It's crazy because we're not demonic. That is now being used against us. It's being used against us in the most horrific of ways. That you can't even imagine. And maybe, I don't know how many people even in history could, but you can't even imagine what it has to be like for this poor woman to have thousands of people a party to the live viewing of the public assassination of her husband in front of her children.
What is the point of what he's saying right now? What is the intended goal of this stream that he's doing with Brian Atlas on 9/12 immediately? That's my question, because clearly there's a narrative and an angle being pushed with a specific outcome in mind.
look, I don't know these guys. I don't know what their hearts hold, but
He's talking about Dean again. Hold on. Let me go to 2530. Or wait, I think there's another one right here.
he's a racist, extremist, sexist. I think she said fascist. I don't know. I don't even think these people could probably define what fascism is. But I think, and this is something I mentioned, I think this rhetoric is dangerous, where they're trying to label people, and most of these people don't even know what these terms mean. Oh, this person's a fascist. Okay, he's a Nazi. Well, okay, what should we do with Nazis? I mean, these people.
Okay, keep in mind that right now, because Andrew Wilson is about to say something that if we applied that to them right now, if the shoe fits, buddy. So he is calling Candace Owens demonic, evil, calling all of us demonic and evil, saying that we are all part of the crazy left. He's incorporated Stu Peters, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Tucker Carlson, Anna Kasparian, Candace Owens, and anyone else that doesn't believe the official narrative, that we're also part of the UNF America, that we're part of Act Blue, and that we're wanting to push in through this third-party democratic liberal policies and ideals, which is just BS. But he's saying that it's a tactic to call people certain names, because then you can get away with, what can you get away with once you've labeled somebody something?
We fought them in World War II.
Imagine the rhetoric here. And you bring up the
Okay, he says a bunch of things about the Nazis. I got to skip.
Bad to happen to them. Why wouldn't you want bad things to happen to Nazis? Why wouldn't you want bad things to happen to these people who are trying to ethnically cleanse the entire world? That's the contradiction, the upfront contradiction. And that's how you know they're full of shit, Brian. They're full of shit. They don't give a flying about what happened to Kirk. They don't care, and they're celebrating it. This chat knows it. You know it. We all know it. And they're full of shit, bro. They're full of it.
Yeah. And I mean,
he's putting us in the same group. He's about to say it. It's at 25 in 30 seconds, but I'm getting this build up. Sorry for the language. We're not listening to him all night. Okay.
A lot of people on that side of the aisle, like especially some of these younger TikTok people, Dean, Parker, they happily engaged in this sort of
that's who it was, Dean Parker, not Withers. I don't know who Withers is.
Fiery rhetoric, basically just trying to label, because it's this strategy isn't really quite as effective as it used to be. But it was basically, you call somebody a racist, whether there's any evidence for the claim or not, you call them a racist. Oh my God. And most people just buy it. They just buy it. This person's a racist. This person's a Nazi. This person's a fascist, whatever it is. And then they get labeled, and then And then it makes it much easier to justify.
So he's saying that is a liberal, democratic, leftist tactic. Okay. And that once you label someone, then you can get away with justifying anything, doing anything to them. And remember, right now, Andrew Kolvet, Blake Neff, Mikey McCoy, Jack Posobiec, Graham Allen, Gary Melton, Andrew Wilson, all of them. They're all going around saying that we, right, the not like the truthers, right, that don't believe the official narrative regarding the assassination of Charlie Kirk, and we don't believe the evidence against Tyler Robinson, that we are, and then add your slur in whatever word, right? Demonic, evil, satanic, leftist. And they're saying that we're the same as Dean and UNF America, and that we're actually, they're trying to lump us in with anyone that is supporting Clancy's defense, which I'm not. And anyone I've spoken to in this space, we are just 100% invested in the Charlie Kirk case. We haven't even spent any time on that. There's no overlap. Like Andrew Kolvet said, there's a Venn diagram with everyone online that is supporting Candace Owens, and everyone on and supporting Tyler Robinson, and everyone online that's supporting this Clancy lady. And there's a massive overlap, and that we're all the same. They are doing the thing that they are saying crazy leftist liberals do as a tactic to slight someone, label someone, so then you can justify doing just about anything to them.
Okay. All kinds of, whether it's
right. You're exactly right.
Yeah.
The idea here being, if you're an evil person because you've been labeled that, then anything we do to you is justified.
Bingo. Bingo. That's exactly what they're doing right now. This is exactly what they're doing to all of us right now, because we don't believe the official narrative, because we don't support TPUSA, because we don't support Trump and this administration. It's exactly what they're doing to all of us right now. If the shoe fits, Andrew, wear it. All right. And that's as far as I got on this one. So we might have to check some of the most replayed.
Normal person, if you actually watch the escalation in these DMs of a person saying like, what did I do wrong here?
He's talking about him receiving threats. And then I want to get to the point where
any different if it was the case that I was assassinated publicly. Now, you know me much better, and we have a much better interpersonal relationship, so it would have affected you probably deeper, but is it really any different ultimately? The idea here is they could get us all, and they've been gunning for a long time to do this.
Yeah.
And you guys just, like
the crazy left
in the audience, you don't realize how bad these people really are. Like what Brian has to deal with on the back end, it's fucking horrific. And he tells you 5% less, maybe less than 5%.
Yeah, I mean, I don't share much of it, but I mean, Andrew, I'm sure it's just as bad, if not worse, for you. I mean,
no, it's worse for you. No, it's worse for you. Oh, boo-hoo you. No, boo-hoo you. These guys, ultimate victims.
Fair, not just lawfare. I mean, the mass reporting, it's fucking insane. Heat, not just for his views, but just for the people he platforms. And I'm telling you, one of the primary motivations of the assassination of Kirk wasn't just Charlie Kirk's views, but it was a platform which was represented. That's what they wanted to kill more than anything.
What? So you do think it's a crazy leftist? You do think it's a conspiracy? You do think that there's more than one person involved in the assassination of Charlie Kirk, and they wanted to not just silence him because of his views, but they wanted to destroy his platform? Where is this coming from, Andy? Where is this coming from? I read that one. Just keeping the faith. I 100% agree. If it was the left and Charlie heard the left was going to kill him, he either heard about Tyler Robinson, or it is a conspiracy of left organizations. So it is a conspiracy or a conspiracy. Yeah. Yeah, I like that. That was very good. KJax. Matt, Wilson was absolutely not fad slop months ago. Threatened, paid, MK Ultra, who knows, but liar. And not Christ-like is definitely true. No. Yeah, no, he wasn't fed slop. That's what I'm saying. He wasn't fed slop. I'm going to play the clip. He's against the official narrative initially. He's completely against that you can even tell if it's Tyler Robinson and you can't tell that there's a rifle in his hand. He's the opposite of fed slop, but then he's also pushing other fed slop talking points like the crazy left, which is just always been part of his narrative and his talking points. But he's pushing it really hard. He's pushing it really hard right away. And he's also pushing these statements that someone on the ground called him and confirmed that Gigi and Erica were there, right? To maximize grief and sympathy for the widow. Total lie, made up story. And that some officer that he has connections with immediately after the assassination that was there, a plainclothes officer, sent him a video before anyone else. So I'm trying to figure out the connections and what they are and who they are and why. Because what I was talking to Zach about today is that my opinion is Andrew is an opportunist, okay? He saw a need, right? He saw a problem that needed to be solved on behalf of TPUSA. He saw that TPUSA lost its major debater and its figurehead, Charlie Kirk. He also would have seen between the assassination and when he started coming on the scene that they tried to push out other debaters. They tried to feed people to these campus events to pick up the mic, whether that be Ben Shapiro, whether that be Cabot Phillips or Shane Winnings or Jack Posobiec and Blake Neff. They tried to push people out there to pick up the mic and to do what Charlie did, and it freaking did not do good. Nobody wanted to hear anything that they had to say. He also witnessed the last 11 months that Candace Owens has gone unmatched in her online investigation into the Charlie Kirk assassination, the Tyler Robinson investigation, the case against Tyler, and TPUSA. All of these would be problems that needed solutions, and that if this guy inserted himself as someone that could help solve the problem, he could gain the eyes and get noticed by TPUSA and get them to reach out. So I'm still working through the exact steps in this, right? But seeing that TPUSA and Erica Kirk, right, raised $500 million, from the time of the assassination to, I think at that time it was like May, June, right? Lots of money, grew, lots of power and influence. And they also have a shared enemy, the crazy left, not one step back, he says. That's one of his slogans, right? And that he would love the fame, notoriety, and money that could come from being selected as the next debater for Charlie to take over Charlie Kirk. One of the things that he said multiple times is that Charlie Kirk accomplished what others on the right have been trying to accomplish for decades, to get into these college campuses. And he like, I don't know, was envious of that, of Charlie Kirk. And that he would love to be doing that now. The money, the fame, the notoriety that could come from that, the networking as being part of a political organization that has connections to very, very wealthy and powerful people. And I think that him coming out and debating Zach Costello and other Stu Peters and other people on our camp was like a test run. This was him preparing for Candace Owens. I think Candace Owens was always in the works. They were always going to have Andrew debate Candace Owens, but they had to make it look organic. So this guy had to come out of nowhere. He had to debate smaller people first, and then make his way to Candace Owens. And I think they also wanted to see what their community's response was going to be to Andrew Wilson. Were they going to accept this guy as someone who's debating on behalf of and in defense of TPUSA, even though he has extremely questionable character and his personality flaws, right? Would people in TPUSA, would donors and would people that support TPUSA accept him as a replacement for Charlie Kirk for the campus events? The campus events was their bread and butter of notoriety. Okay. That is where they went viral. That became such a major fixture in TPUSA and Charlie Kirk. Okay. And the impact into these liberal universities trying to win over the hearts and minds of the students. And man, I lost it. But yeah, that by debating these other people first, then Candace Owens, I definitely think that this was them trying to gauge how their community would accept Andrew as a possible replacement for these campus debates. And I just have a feeling that he will be doing these campus debates because there's no one else right now, and they need someone to do it. And they hired him to teach the next crop of debaters. But I have a feeling that he's going to be the one going and doing the debating. So, what up, Charlie's Angels? You don't have to share, but do you know if Erica had pre-planned childcare for the next few days? I always would need to get permission to say something publicly. But I can get that permission and then reach out to you, Charlie. Okay. Because I know that there's events coming up, and I see where you're going with this. So, but especially before I say it in front of 809 people, I need to speak to the individual first. And then based on what they say, if I'm allowed to say something, then I can message you. Hopefully that's okay with you. All right. Granny loves Jesus. Pray those who were inspired by Charlie Kirk rise up and rebuke these grifters. Charlie Kirk taught you well. Speak up. ABD out, or speak up and out. Join us. Jesus is Lord. Amen. And K-Jax, for a very, oh my gosh, digressium? Is that a misspelled word? Nice. You're nailing it, Matt. Thanks. I don't know. What's digressium? I've never heard that word before. Was it misspelled like digression? Okay, so one thing that, I think you know, Charlie, is that anytime Erica goes out of state, Rob McCoy's wife, Michelle, stays with the kids and watches them. She's basically a live-in nanny right now for them. And so it's not like she would even need to get childcare, but I can get confirmation about this specific the next few days. Oh, my nose itches. Yeah, I know that anytime she goes out of state, Michelle stays at the condo or the house and watches them, because I'm not sure if they've moved into their new house that was being built yet or if they're still in the condo. But I know that anytime Erica goes out of state and is working and travels, that Michelle watches them. So I meant though for the days of 9, 10 through 11 of this year or of last year, because are you wondering if she's going to be at the event at UVU at the memorial? Or are you talking about, can I get confirmation if she wasn't with the kids on 9, 10 and 9, 11? Well, I know that on 11, Michelle watched them. I know that. I can tell you that. 9/11/2025, Michelle watched the kids. So, but 9/10, well, no, she flew out there on 9/10 too. Right? It would have been set up before she had to fly out to meet up with Andrew on the tarmac. But I can get confirmation. But from my understanding, that is her go-to childcare anytime she goes. And I even remember the statement was that in the aftermath of the assassination, Michelle all but moved in with Erica and the kids to help out with the kids. And I'm guessing that would have happened immediately, 9/10, but I can get like concrete verification on that, and then I can get back to you. Not if she wasn't with the kids, but when she had to rush out on 9/10. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So what was told to me was that in the immediate aftermath of the assassination, like immediately, Michelle took care of the kids and then all but moved in there and stayed and continued to take care of the kids for Erica. If you remember, Erica flew out and was gone 9/10. They didn't know if she was coming back then. She didn't come back that night. She stayed in Salt Lake City and then flew back the next day, but then was with the casket and wasn't like, probably went home that night, but still needed a lot of help. And so from my source, it was that Michelle is the nanny. Okay. Erica's not going to be hiring someone she doesn't know, right? It's going to be someone that already has connections to and relationships with her and the kids. And my source says that was from the beginning, from 9/10 was Michelle. Why does my nose keep itching? Oh, sorry. I think I need to blow my nose, but I'm not going to do it on camera. I'm going to play a clip and disappear for a second.
Is he takes a lot of heat, not just for his views, but just for the people he platforms. And I'm telling you, one of the primary motivations of the assassination of Kirk wasn't just Charlie Kirk's views, but it was a platform which was represented. That's what they wanted to kill more than anything. And it's like, so, as far as me being a target, sure. But I think that it's platforms who will allow oppositional views. I think that they're targeted even more.
Well, I mean, with Turning Point USA, I hope that somebody can, I mean, I don't know who. Charlie Kirk was kind of a
You can't replace
generational type of guy.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm hoping that the, Turning Point can continue to at least do some form of, advocacy. I can't imagine that they're going to go away, but obviously it's taken a massive blow. And
brainstorming right away as to who is going to replace Charlie. Interesting.
Brian, he runs a dating show, just an oppositional dating show.
No. Okay, let's get to the part where they start looking at the camera. Let's go right here.
Oh, thank you, man. I do appreciate it. And yeah, a lot of the times my approach to whenever there's, I don't know, somebody talking shit, for the most part, honestly, is there a way I can get
Did you watch the FBI?
I do both.
Did you watch the FBI brief?
The one that was like an hour ago or something before you went
it
on?
was real. It was so bad.
Yeah, where they
have nothing. It's disgusting. And I feel terrible for the Kirks. They just want, they at least at this point just want the basic justice of apprehending the suspect. And this is terrible, man.
Do you think that there's a chance that they don't catch the guy?
No chance.
They're going to get
him? Let me tell you why I think that. There have been people who have murdered cats online, and internet sleuths will figure this shit out.
Mm-hmm.
One of the good things about the hyper autistic internet community, which exists, and I'm talking to all of you on whatever, okay? And I know that there's some of you who are following this very closely. If the FBI and law enforcement doesn't solve this, you good people on the internet will solve this.
What? So Candace Owens and all of her internet mommy sleuths are going to solve this? If the FBI does not solve this, all of us online are going to solve this. I think someone needs to remind Andrew Wilson of this statement that he made on 9/12. what could have possibly transpired from 9/12 to around May? It might have happened before then. I got to look at when he actually started defending Erica and TPUSA online, attacking Candace and anyone defending Tyler Robinson as a patsy. What could have transpired between then and now to just make him do a complete 180? Do people do that organically? Do people hold such honest and strong positions immediately and then over the next 6 months completely flop, completely change? He said it himself. The FBI has nothing. Brian is like, do you think that the person is going to get away and they won't find him? Andrew says, no way. Why is that? The internet sleuths, online investigators are going to solve it. So that's us. But now he wants online investigators to stop asking questions and stop investigating this. Now he believes the FBI. He initially is like, they have nothing. He watched the press conference and it was a total freaking bomb. It was a train wreck. No confidence in them at all. And confidence in the internet and internet sleuths, to completely shifting and flipping to now completely defending the FBI, the State Bureau of Investigations in Utah, the Utah County's Attorney's Office, which is the prosecution, the system, completely defending them and believing that they got this right now. They got it right. And you know who's got it wrong now? Internet investigators. Andrew Wilson, ladies and gentlemen. Let's hear that one more time.
Internet community which exists.
Hold on.
Catch the guy.
No chance.
They're going to get
Let
him.
me tell you why I think that. There have been people who have murdered cats online, and internet sleuths will figure this shit out.
Mhm.
One of the good things about the hyper autistic internet community which exists, and I'm talking to all of you on whatever, okay? And I know that there's some of you who are following this very closely. If the FBI and law enforcement doesn't solve this, you good people on the internet will solve this. And you'll put clues together which will assist them in figuring out who this person is. In fact, I'm willing to make the prediction tonight that the FBI only solves this through the help of internet sleuths like you guys. They're not going to give justice to the Kirks. You guys have to give justice to the Kirks because this is fucking insane. The FBI has very little. Law enforcement at this event was a joke. I watched the first FBI brief. Brian, they said there were 6 cops there for a crowd of 3,000, multiple of them plain clothes. That's it. That was the entire 6 cops for 3,000 people. And then they said, well, Kirk has his own private security team. Well, that security team is looking for problems from the crowd of people rushing the stage, things like that. They're not up there looking for snipers and this type of thing. That's not their function. That's police officers' function. This was a failure at basically every level.
So immediately casting doubt on the FBI, their ability to investigate this, defending the security team, and casting suspicion and doubt on the UVU and local police, which I do agree they also failed their job that day, but so did the security team. Okay, because I don't care. I don't care. Better to ask for forgiveness than for permission. All right. If they knew, and they knew when they arrived that day that UVU was completely undermanned, right? 6 officers. So then they would have been like, we have 11. So they can't even stay with us. And they're going to have people back at headquarters in dispatch, manning the surveillance cameras, manning the phones. So that's not like 6 on the ground out walking around. I saw like 3 or 4. And then there was plenty plainclothes officers as well. Yes, but they were there for other reasons. But Brian Harpole's security team had 11 team members there that day. None of them needed to be in the crowd. There were 2 fences, bike racks, and then they still had their row of security members looking out into the crowd. We had Rick Cutler in the crowd facing Charlie as if he's a spectator, just being super weird. And then you have another security member that is following around. What was his name? Not Danny Phillips, but the other executive assistant of Charlie Kirk. What's the other guy's name? Binder Boy. What's Binder Boy's name? There was one security team member tasked with following him around the entire time. So Brian Harple and his team, though they got denied drones, they could have taken a drone off campus, taken off, and flown over the entire time. They also could have commandeered Mikey McCoy's, TPUSA's media team drone that was already in the air capturing B-roll footage. And Dan Flood would have known about that because he was in the car with Charlie and Mikey McCoy when they were pulling up. So they could have put someone on the roof. They could have just had someone walking over, the guy that was walking with, did you guys answer me who that other kid's name was? The other executive assistant, Nate Walker. Yeah, Nate Walker. Instead of putting a security team member with him that just chaperoned him all day, that guy could have been walking around to the different roofs, looking if there is access to these roofs, and then at least just walking up there and taking a look. The guy was providing no security for Charlie following Nate Walker around. What the frick was he doing with Nate? Super weird. So they could have had Rick Cutler, instead of being in the crowd facing Charlie, he could have been walking around looking at or even manning a roof. And then if a police officer or UVU comes over and goes like, what are you doing here? You could be like, I thought I saw something. I wanted to come up and check it out. I'm part of Charlie Kirk's security team. They wouldn't have done anything. So I do believe that the UVU police, major failure, major blunder, but same with the security team on a totally different level. They did not do a normal security plan like they normally do. They didn't take the normal precautions like they normally do. The time that it normally took to get this event planned and prepared for didn't happen. It was put together in very short order. They didn't even do walkthroughs of the campus until the morning of. They didn't ask for any roofs to be covered except for the Hall of Flags roof that morning, when not even they knew. They were told by campus police and others that there were students up there throwing rocks down on the tent and that they needed to have it blocked off and to put a security guard and a police officer up there. And that's exactly what Chief Long did. It's my bet that if Brian Harple simply would have asked for Chief Long to put guys on other roofs or to allow their team members to go on other roofs, Chief Long would have been fine with it. He didn't push back at all. He said, I got you covered. So let me read this. Overt gaslighting has become $1 million industry. 9/11, Building 7, COVID, Jeffy Epi, Charlie Kirk. Bro, we all know who is behind these psyops. These agents that participate. You're gross. We know you're an agent. Who? Me? Who are you talking to? Aves questions. Who are you talking to? Throw another comment in. You talking about me? I'm an agent. I'm gaslighting. I don't know who you're talking about. Sounds like you're talking about me, not Matt. Did that person leave? No, not me. Who is she talking about? Oh, is she talking about Andrew Wilson? I'm not Canadian. Yeah, I love you guys too. Either way. All right. Who knows? All right, let's move on. Hopefully she's talking about Andrew Wilson. I can't tell sometimes.
It was a failure at every level.
Yeah. I mean, do you think that, I don't know if it's right to,
Okay.
think about this.
Sorry, Eves. I see that. Hold on. Where'd you go? Yes, I surf. Hold on. Where did Eves? Okay, not me. All right. right? Is that the one? Wait, that's not the same photo, but is that the same name? Eves loves. Oh no, this is Avis questions. Yeah, I do surf, Zachary. Yeah, I do. I mean, I don't anymore. I grew up in Southern California, man. I've surfed waves all over, man. Black's Beach down in San Diego, like any beach in California, surfed in Hawaii. I live in North Idaho now. But I grew up surfing since I was like 7. I did competitive surfing as a teenager. I was on the surf team. I had surf PE. I actually surfed for the Marine Corps. We would surf against other branches like the Air Force, Army, and Navy. We'd have surf competitions at San Onofre, Black's Beach, DMJs, which is Del Mar Jetties. That's on Camp Pendleton. You feel like you've surfed with me before? Are you from Southern California, Zach? I mean, I've surfed Mexico, pretty much everywhere in California and Hawaii. If you surfed any of those places. So very possible. Okay. Sorry, Aves. Aves, I'm sorry. I'm okay. You can ask anyone in the chat. I'm really bad at reading things. Like my wife will message me and she'll be like, how did you misunderstand that super chat? It's so obvious. I'm also not in the live chat. So like I can't see your guys' conversations and like what's happening. So like I have so little context when a super chat comes up. And so I misread that. I apologize. No. Would I give money to someone who I thought was a POS? No. Okay. Sorry. Wasn't trying to insinuate that, just trying to understand the wording. My apologies. What does it say? Matt is very genuine. Yeah, I am a dummy though. I mean, I'm very smart, but I can't read people's handles. I'm really bad at reading handles. And sometimes I don't understand the question or comment in the super chat. And you can even ask people like my mods and stuff. They'll send me a picture and they'll explain it to me. And then I'll have to go back and like re-answer or like re-explain. There's so much going on in my mind with where I'm at in the show and everything that I'm doing in here. And that, yeah, sometimes I'm losing context. So I apologize. All right, let's continue. So you meant this dummy. Yes. This POS.
But do you think that for someone like Charlie Kirk, there was a protocol in place where there could be some anticipation that he could be shot? Like, do they have somebody on standby who's like ready to do like a medic or something like that? Do you think that there might have? No.
I think maybe there was an ambulance on site to do basic things like.
Nope. There was no ambulance. In fact, they denied an ambulance. There was 2 EMTs that were highly, highly trained, highly experienced, and had very, very extensive medic bags. And they were denied assistance to help by Charlie Kirk's security team.
A person has a heat stroke, they can take care of that. The medical team who was on site was probably for things like minor wounds. Somebody fell down. They went into anaphylactic shock because it got stung by a bee. There definitely wasn't a trauma team on site who was ready for things like gunshots. And really, why would there be?
Well, that's not true. Those 2 EMTs were so highly trained and experienced. They actually were specifically, I think Charlie's Angels. Are you still here, Charlie? If Charlie's Angels is still here, she knows a lot, I think, about those EMTs and how highly trained and experienced and qualified they were, and that they were uniquely trained and experienced to handle a gunshot wound to the neck like that. So, Andrew, I don't know what he's doing. Just blah, 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 blah.
Right. Kirk ultimately was very moderate in his views, and these were, for the most part, extremely respectful exchanges between him and the audience. There wasn't necessarily any reason to believe that leftist psychopaths were going to take a rechambered Mauser and try.
Whoa, we need to clip this. Holy smokes. I need to write this down. Holy smokes.
views, and these were, for the most part, extremely respectful exchanges between him and the audience. There wasn't necessarily any reason to believe that leftist psychopaths were going to take a rechambered Mauser and try to blast this guy 160 yards away. There wasn't necessarily good reason for him to believe that. Now, going forward, most of the right is going to assume that, and they should. The problem is that there's a bit of complacency which happened here. And the complacency was the idea that you can just, in an unmolested way, be able to go on college university campuses.
Okay, so even his early assessment is that, yeah, we need to clip that. We need to clip that with his most recent video, which will be on my show because he took his video down, of him saying he reads the text, or it's from the debate too, where he's like, I'm somewhat afraid the left is going to kill me. And then he goes, eh. And he goes, whatever could he have meant by that? And then we need to clip that and put them together. That his first take was that Charlie had very moderate views and that most exchanges on campus weren't very heated, right? Some were, but most weren't. And that Charlie would have no real suspicion or fear that a leftist was going to kill him. Does he not remember that this clip exists? Does he not remember what he said?
And have these respectful exchanges without having to worry about a sniper in the wings. That's the normalcy bias coming to fruition. And I don't blame Charlie Kirk for that, right? I blame the psychopathic left for that.
Right. Oh, so now it is the psychopath.
You know, it's just, I wonder in terms of stifling this sort of activity.
Hold on. I love your guys' comments. Hold up. 3-year-olds don't run toward gunfire. Nope. They sure don't. She also wasn't even present. That's the other crazy thing. Neither was Erica Kirk. Me, South Cali, born, raised, North, now surfer Matt. Yeah, I'm from Oceanside. I was born in Tulsa, Oklahoma, but my mom moved me out to Vista when I was 2, and then I lived in Vista and Oceanside my entire life and grew up surfing, you know, south side of the pier, Carlsbad, like Tamarack, Cardiff, Blacks Beach. And then we used to like sneak on base when I was a civilian because Del Mar Jetties, DMJs, was a really good wave. When it gets a southwest swell, it get heavy. And then when I was in the Marine Corps, I could get on and I surfed there as much as I want, which was super cool. I would get my buddies on, my civilian surfer buddies. So, yeah. All right. How about skateboarding? Yeah. But I liked like downhill skateboarding and then like bowl, like a pool, like empty pools and like bowls, like concrete skate parks, but not like a traditional skateboard, like flip tricks and all that, and kind of like what you saw from the Dogtown boys. Like they really pioneered surfing inside of pools, and that's kind of what created like half pipes and all of that, because a lot of the tricks are similar, and when the surf is not good, you can go do that. So yeah.
Steven Crowder did this stuff in the past. I don't know if he really does it much anymore. He had the change my mind stuff. I had actually contemplated, and I think I pitched to you a while back, like, hey, next time you're in person, let's just go to the street. Let's do men on the street. We'll get a sign and it'll, you know, just debate people out on the street.
All right, get to
I mean, look, that's something, doing something man on the street style, or, you know, doing something on the college campus has been, I mean, but I don't want to, look, I don't want to make it.
Politics looks like. Big difference between that and trying to make this horrific event about you. In many ways, you may not realize this, Brian, but you are still paid for your political commentary. People are tuning in right now because they want to know exactly how you feel about this. And by the way, so do I. And the truth is that it's perfectly acceptable. And I understand why so many people on the right instantly were like, man, we got to beef up security. We were talking about this, about the big Nashville event earlier with Modern Day Debate. I'm going to make sure that the people who are there are protected. That's the #1 goal. Not just myself and my kind wife, but everybody who's there, we need to make sure is protected.
His kind wife. Oh my gosh, do I have that clip? Let's see. His kind wife. I don't even know if I'll be able to play it. She's not very kind. Let's see. Here we go.
He apologized.
How about you don't physically attack my husband? How about you don't come over around the table and shove his chair thinking
Okay.
you can get away with that
I
shit?
can't believe it's been like over a year and you still have. I get it because we haven't met personally, but you did berate me already.
Hang on, let's just pretend your husband came across.
No, I get it. I get what you
and
mean.
did the same exact thing to her.
You mother.
I don't like all the cussing. What is up, you guys? His kind wife. That was my that I thought that was funny.
Protected. I understand completely what's going through various people's heads right this second. Now, I did talk to Steven Crowder today, and as you know, I don't release publicly the context or generally content of what I talk to other content creators about. But Crowder's overall, I can tell you, his overall kind of mindset here was, fuck these people. And if I have to do IRL events again, I will, and we'll do them in a way where they, where who cares what they do? If they have hand grenades, it wouldn't matter.
So if he has to do IRL in real life events, so he's already thinking about doing those again. Can you get to the video? I want to hear
So
it.
he's completely on the these people train, and I got to kind of respect that, Brian. Fuck them. They're these bastards.
Actually, we kind of brought the show to the street, the dating talk show. This was pretty much exactly a year ago. It was, I think, August, September.
Did he not talk about?
And even the first one we did, it was me, my filmer, and Madison. We really quickly, even just doing that, just dating questions. We were like, we need for podcasts. We're kind of,
All right, I can't find it in here. I don't know why they're playing the videos in the background, but they're not talking about it. All right, let's go here to hear Andrew Kolvet and Bill O'Reilly.
Kolvet, executive producer of the Charlie Kirk show, which continues despite the death of Mr. Kirk. And you've been canceled a whole bunch of times. And so was Mr. Kirk when you went around the country to try to get your word out, correct?
Oh, yeah. Bill, Turning Point is probably the organization that's been canceled the most times from the most universities across the country. And they always give this same rationale for it. There was an administrative error, or they didn't follow procedures. They didn't check the right box. And time again, it's a simple equation of, we don't want you on our campus, and we're going to find any excuse in the book to make sure you don't speak. And so I publicly came out in defense of Hassan Piker's right to be able to speak at the University of Washington, which is actually also my own.
Okay, if I hadn't made it clear, I made it very clear why I was playing clips of Andrew and the things that he's saying and the things that he said then comparing to now. I'm exposing him for what he is. It's the same thing that I do with Andrew Kolvet and Blake Neff and Graham Allen and all these people. This is how I can contribute to the investigation, is to looking into what these people have said over periods of time from the initial, even before, how positions they had even before Charlie was murdered, leading up to his assassination, and then everything that's happened since then and what's happening currently. So that's why I play certain people that we don't like, is to expose them for what they are. And last night I did that perfectly when he was doing his show. Okay. And like, here, let me pull something up. So last night when he was doing his show and he was trying to sell this narrative that Charlie was afraid of the left, in order to, he was front loading the audience so that he can release that text. And he thought it was going to give it, it was going to be more evidence to substantiate that Charlie was afraid of the left. Andrew played the audio from this clip I'm about to show you, and I showed it last night, but he cut it. He completely cut out the end where Charlie said who he actually is concerned about. He cut out a portion in the middle and he spliced it together, and he only played the audio so that people wouldn't know where to go look for the full clip and see that that's not what Charlie said. And Andrew completely lied and misrepresented what Charlie said. Okay. So I'm exposing them for what they are. That's what I'm doing.
Have they aided you? Have they provided you with the impetus for more creativity and more solutions and more funding?
No. Well, so there's two types of haters. There's I was trying to find a nice way to say this, but I'm not going to say it. There's
I can say it for you.
Yeah, there's like the purple-haired jihadist on a college campus that wants to murder me and my family.
Oh.
That, like,
I don't have those kind of haters.
yeah, I know.
Fine.
Those people don't bother me.
Don't
whatever.
bother.
My haters are nothing now.
Yeah, exactly. You know,
This was in March 2025. And supposedly that's the thing that he was so scared of and concerned of the night before UVU. No.
they have weapons. We get death threats almost every day. That's part of the game of the space that I'm in. The other type of haters, though, are the ones that are the close proximity ones. And these are the ones I know that had some sort of relationship with me and either betrayed me or deceived me or said that I could not succeed. That is a whole different, those actually get my attention.
Yeah.
Just like the random troubled person on a campus, whatever.
So the
Whatever. So that's what we're doing.
Alma mater, Bill. So that's an interesting tie-in because, listen, I may not have to like what he has to say. I might find it the most abhorrent things that you can say, actually. Some among the most horrible things you can say. But I'm a free speech absolutist, and
No, you're
he
not.
should have the right to say what he wants. Now, if you're asking me a question about should he be arrested.
So he thinks that Hassan Piker, who hated Charlie and was just nasty to Charlie, is free to say whatever he wants, but not Candace Owens. But not Candace Owens. Yep. Yep. Yeah, and that clip of Charlie, that's what he said in March 2025. People in close proximity to him, those are the people that get his attention.
For incitement, that might be a different question, but don't cancel him because of an administrative error. I think that's
All right.
garbage.
I don't see the incitement because the guy's a loon, and people before have said, in fact, President Obama's pastor said, we deserve 9/11. You remember the chickens come home to roost comment.
Yeah, of course.
Why do you think a big university like the University of Washington, left-leaning, you went there, Seattle's a nut house. They can't even fill their office buildings now. It's the lowest office building occupancy in the country, in Seattle, because they have a communist mayor, and all this stuff is in the culture there. Why would the University of Washington? Why wouldn't they just take your tact and say, okay, we're not going to endorse this guy's belief system, but he's going to be there, and you can go see him if you want? Why wouldn't they do that?
I think universities, like a lot of bureaucracies, are prone to trying to avoid the hard route, right? They want to take the easier route, the less controversial route. They don't want to have the blowback from either side. And, I don't know the particular instance, why, what administrator basically made the call here, but it sounds like Pramila Jayapal.
Yeah, it's got to be the
What's
president.
that?
Got to be the president.
I mean, ultimately, they wanted to avoid a controversial situation, and maybe they personally don't think Hassan Piker's good for their liberal cause or whatever the case may be. But that's why you have to be consistent, right? That's why listen, Charlie was about to debate Hassan Piker actually before he died at Dartmouth. There was a debate scheduled a month following when Charlie was assassinated. Charlie debated Hassan Piker in 2018 at Politicon in Los Angeles. I was there. So those conversations could be.
That's the one that Erica Kirk was at. Now that I know that, I'm going to look for Erica Kirk in the crowd. In 2018 at Politicon in Los Angeles, that's the one that Charlie brought Erica, and Andrew didn't know. And Andrew wasn't told. And Andrew was mad that Charlie did that without Andrew's permission as the PR guy. So I'm going to be looking at that debate and seeing if I could find Erica.
Really helpful to expose them. And I think with somebody like Hassan Piker, you say, hey, this is Operation Let Him Speak.
Operation Let Him Speak. Wow. That's the exact same words that Andrew Wilson used a few days ago when talking about Candace Owens. It's almost like, and they're trying to lump Hassan Piker in with Candace Owens. Okay. It's almost like you and Andrew are Andrew Wilson and Andrew Kolvet are coordinating and collaborating this whole PR attack. Operation Let Him Speak. Yeah, I do think that Andrew Wilson is working just hand in hand with them. Hand in hand. Hold on, I want to see something because this came out. I don't know what this says. We don't have to if you guys. We can go here, actually, because I wanted to finish this from the other night. I want to see what else Frank Turek lied about on here. This is the other one that no one had seen yet. So let me back up just a smidge.
Let me just say quick 3 things. Anything's possible, but not every possibility has evidence behind it. You could say an alien shot Charlie.
Yeah,
ridiculous.
That's possible.
Yeah.
But you need evidence if you're going to implicate somebody in a murder. You can't just say this is a possibility and therefore that guy then is guilty. This is why Mikey McCoy's getting death threats. Mikey McCoy, he won't even step on an ant. The kid is so docile and so
he's so docile. He won't even step on an ant. Do you mean he's very, that's what we think.
friendly. I get emails. You never know what can happen to you. You need to repent. Repent. I'm going, what? What are you talking about?
You should repent.
People believe this now. So that's point number 1. Secondly, not every false statement is a lie.
But
sometimes it could be, obviously it could be a lie. It could be just ignorance. It could be like, I didn't know there was an overhang above us. I didn't know somebody could have been up there with a video camera with their iPhone taking pictures from above to show.
You did when you made the statement, because the statement about the drones didn't happen before the event. It happened days and weeks and months after the event. So you did know that there was a platform up there. Okay. And not every falsity is a lie, but every lie is a falsity, Frank. And it just so happens every lie that you tell is a lie.
Was the crowd? I thought it was drone footage. Either that or there was a drone up earlier before the event, but legally there couldn't have been one up during the event. The third thing is
now he says legally there couldn't be one up during the event. That's interesting because there were dozens of drones up during the event. Dozens. They're captured all over camera, and the media team was allowed to have a drone up during the event. I wonder what he's talking about, saying that legally there were no drones allowed up during the event.
That the prosecution, people don't understand how prosecutions work. The prosecution's job is not to quell internet conspiracy theories. The prosecution's job is to convict the real killer. And they will not tell you what they're doing in the prosecution for at least 3 reasons. Number 1, suppose they say we're investigating a second shooter. And they tell the public that. The public, if some guy comes forward and says, Mr. DA, I saw the second shooter. They don't know whether that guy really saw the second shooter or he just heard they're looking for a second shooter and the guy's trying to make a name for himself, right?
Why does this guy feel the need to get on camera all the time to push a certain narrative? Because he's trying to control the narrative and the PSYOP, and he's part of it, in my opinion. I forgot. I wanted to show some of this stuff on X, and then I'll go back to the Frank Turek video. So let's see. I can make this bigger. All right. So Andrew Wilson is saying that, and he posted this yesterday, preview of next week's evidence. All of this stupid Fort Huachuca rumors get put to bed. Get ready, Stuart. He's talking about Stu Peters, and then he shows a picture. it's not going to get put to bed, just like nothing got put to bed yesterday when he released text without validation and verification. He doesn't have proof of anything, you guys. It's just a grift so that he can make money and get notoriety. And then we have Candace Owens here saying, why won't Turning Point USA publicly acknowledge that the alleged text message leak from Charlie Kirk, to Dan Flood? Yeah. That it was Dan Flood. And Andrew Wilson is not a party to the text messages as he did not know Charlie at all. Can Miss Erica Kirk and Andrew Kolvet confirm their authenticity? If not, the public is right to assume they are completely fake. I agree. And here we have Blake Neff calling out Baron Coleman, and I want to play the clip. It's only a minute and a half, and I want to see. So Blake Neff is saying, this was the most predictable thing in the world. People like Baron hated Charlie while he was alive. Then he exploited his death to enrich himself. He needs English lessons. And as soon as the grift heads south, now he's talking about multiple people, they'll just go back to trashing him again. Creatures like this have no true friendships and no true loves. To them, people only exist to be used. And this is not true at all. And I have watched this episode and I know exactly what the full context of the statement is. So let's see how Blake cut him out of context.
I'm not two-faced, and I don't think Charlie was either. I really don't. But if he was, if they want that to be his legacy, that he's just a total unadulterated liar and misleads people, okay, well, if the problem with a liar, if you catch them lying on that issue, if you catch Charlie Kirk lying on whether or not he likes Candace Owens, or was he just saying that publicly so she wouldn't attack him so he could accumulate more power, wealth, and influence? Well, if that's the case, what else was he lying about? Was he lying about his Christian faith? Was he lying about his marriage? Was he lying about his friendships? Was he lying about whether or not he was breaking the law? Was he lying? What does that give us some insight onto why Charlie Kirk was crying the night Donald Trump won? Because I'm very weirded out by that, if I'm being honest. Very weirded out by the fact that he was crying tears of joy when Donald Trump won election in 2024. And when he was confronted at an event under the tent, the guy didn't shoot him. He asked him a question. But when he was confronted on the event, under the tent, one of the professors where he was, he said, hey, why did you cry that night? And he said, because I was told I was going to go to prison.
And I believe that people made Charlie afraid so that they could motivate Charlie to do literally absolutely everything in his power to get Donald Trump elected and JD Vance. They told him that if Trump and JD Vance didn't get elected, that he was going to go to jail for a long time. Okay. And they convinced him that it wouldn't even matter if they actually had proof or not, that they would make it. They would make the proof. All right. And all Barron was saying tonight was that the texts that get revealed, right, by Andrew Wilson and Erica Kirk saying they didn't exist, right? Now they do exist. They're saying that Charlie lied about the friendship of Candace Owens. He's pointing out that those people at TPUSA are actually implying that Charlie was fake, that Charlie would lie to the public, that he would never publicly denounce Candace, and in fact, he supported it to the very end, but that privately he was having Andrew Wilson handle and manage her, and that he supposedly is sending text message to all of them that he didn't actually like Candace and they weren't friends. That's them. They're the ones ruining it. And Barron is just pointing that out. Okay. That's all that's happening here.
Donald Trump left and lost. And I was going to go to prison for a very long time. Well, did you do anything wrong? Well, if we can't believe what he says about Candace Owens in public, how can we believe what he says about whether he was committing crimes?
Yep. And that's coming from TPUSA. All right. And then here we have Andrew Kolvet saying, left, right is a dated paradigm, bro. So I'm supposed to find common cause with the abortion up until birth, seize the guns and the means of production, radical feminists, anti-white, pro-open border, third world invasion crowd. Not a chance, bro. Nope, that's not what any of us are saying at all.
I'm not two-faced, and I don't think
Yeah, and he said he didn't think Charlie was two-faced either, but that's what they're implying at TPUSA. That's what they're saying.
So they keep all that quiet. Secondly, they can't taint the jury pool. Thirdly, they can't tip off the defense. And so the prosecution is not going to reveal what they have to reveal before they have to. And that's normally at a pretrial hearing, which is until January, or the trial itself. And how do I know this? Because my friend Jay Warner Wallace is a cold case homicide detective. He's prosecuted several homicides. And this is what he says. They cannot get out in front of the case. Their job is not to be a PR firm for the prosecution. Their job is to get the conviction of the real killer. And let me if you want to do what ifs and you want to say, well, people are acting strangely, Eric, do you think if Tyler Robinson was not the true killer, don't you think his parents would be screaming?
No, and I talked about this in an X space. A couple things. The lawyers, okay, would be advising them not to say or do anything, because even coming out and doing that, it could be misconstrued by the media. They could take that and spin that. We also don't know about the Mormon social pressures that are occurring. And I think that the family got put in protective custody, and I don't know if it's out of state or not, but their movements and access to the outside world are significantly limited right now if they're in protective custody, like witness protection, so to speak. Okay. But also that when you're LDS and you live in Utah, that's as close to a theocracy as we have here in the United States, right? That whole state was established by the Mormon religion. And even though it is a state in the Constitution and it was grafted in, it still from top to bottom is ran by Mormons. And the social stigma and pressure that everywhere they go and everything they say and do, I mean, they've been shunned and ostracized for sure from the community, except from probably just people that are really close to them and family that know them. But there's many reasons, and probably reasons I haven't even thought of either, as to why they haven't and wouldn't say anything in defense of Tyler Robinson, in defense of him being innocent. So the absence of them coming out and defending him and saying he's innocent does not prove that he's guilty. And it's the same thing with the defense's response to the bind-over brief. And even in the preliminary hearing, just because they didn't present counter narratives or other of the conspiracy theories, or that they didn't refute or deny assertions by the prosecution, doesn't mean that they concede and admit and agree that Tyler Robinson is the murderer. The absence of something does not prove the presence of something. There's lots of reasons why, and all you need to do is understand the legal system in Utah and the preliminary process in Utah to understand why things happen the way they did. But also, there is a component to this where members of the defense team, don't seem to be operating in their client's best interest. Okay, from other conversations I've had with other lawyers that practice currently in multiple different arenas of law, their take was that the defense's response to the bind-over brief was bad. And then, and I kind of compare that with Barron's take on it, which was not that bad, but he gave it some criticism, not as much as some of these other lawyers online that I've spoke to. But so there's a whole nother thing, that the lawyers, some of them that don't seem to be operating in the client's best interest, could be also improperly informing and advising the parents on what to do and what not to do. you know, and yeah. So there's a lot of reasons why.
You haven't heard a word from them. They were the ones that turned him in.
No, they're not.
Okay. Now we'll get to the bottom of this during the trial, but the best evidence we have now is that Tyler Robinson is the killer, whether he acted alone or not.
Wait, the best evidence is that Tyler Robinson is the killer. So the assertion is the best evidence. What are you talking about, Frank?
Tyler Robinson was not the true killer. Don't you think his parents would be screaming?
No.
You haven't heard a word from them. They were the ones that turned him in.
Nope.
Okay. Now we'll get to the bottom of this during the trial, but the best evidence we have now is that Tyler Robinson is the killer.
The best evidence we have right now is that Tyler Robinson is the killer. Huh. Okay. I'm not following your logic there, Mr. Apologetics.
Whether he acted alone or not, they're checking into that, but they're not going to tell us what they're doing.
We know now they did not check into it. The FBI did not check into that, and neither did, because this is before the prelim, and now we know the prelim in the case against Tyler Robinson is that he is the lone gunman. JFK 2.0, Lee Harvey Oswald 2.0.
It would defeat the purpose of a prosecution.
There are people that I respect that have emailed me and said, Eric, if you want to have me on the program, I can explain to you how a 30-06 could not have been the murder weapon. Now, I didn't take my friend up on that because we haven't been doing that many shows and whatever. But, you know, people seem to be convinced about X or Y or Z.
Wrong. I'm going to keep saying that.
Wrong.
He has a button that he's going to press that says wrong. So this other guy has people that are experts, or at least, you know, they have, you know, experience with weapons and rifles. And they're like, there's no way that a 30-06 could have gone in and done what we saw and left no exit wound. And Frank, of course, holding down his position, is pushing a button. Wrong. Let's hear what Frank has to say.
That's wrong. It's wrong. And I'll tell you why it's wrong. Because, again, my friend Jay Warner Wallace will tell you that it all depends on the distance of the shot, the age of the round. Because, look, if he truly is using his grandfather's weapon and his grandfather's ammunition, that round could have been 50 years old.
So this is an argument from ignorance. And this is an argument that I've heard thrown at me from like Gary Melton from months back and James May and all these people on X saying, and they tried to gaslight me recently and saying, no one said that. No one has ever claimed that the reason why there was no exit wound was because it was old ammunition. Yes, they did. And so did Andrew Kolvet. And so did people at TPUSA, Blake Neff. Okay, and I'll find those clips in some of the early shows that they did in their defending the official narrative. We're speculating that, because it was Grandpappy's 1943 Mauser 98, and that most likely it was old ammunition, that's why there was no exit. Well, we know it was modern ammunition, supposedly, based on the official narrative. So, nope, that's not it.
Okay. And also what it struck when it hit. And if it struck his spine, which is what probably happened, that round fragmented. And
oh my gosh. I haven't made it this far. This is the worst lack of confidence I've ever seen from someone in trying to sell the narrative. Holy smokes. He's stuttering over his words. He can't even confidently get it out. Holy smokes. Frank, give it another shot.
Because, look, if he truly is using his grandfather's weapon and his grandfather's ammunition, that round could have been 50 years old.
But it wasn't.
Okay. And also what it struck when it hit.
Yeah. His spine.
And if it struck his spine, which is what probably happened, that round fragmented. And
fragmented. That round fragmented. And this guy has the audacity to make fun of anyone. That round fragmented. Hey, can you guys do me a favor and hit the like and the subscribe, please? We have 929 people here. We have 656 likes. That means at around roughly 300 people can just boop, hit the like for me. Pretty please. Please. It's the best thing you can do. It really helps. All right. Fragmented. That round fragmented.
It's false that claim that it couldn't have been a 30 odds. That's just false. Okay. It could have been. We'll find out once the autopsy is released.
Yeah.
And the autopsy is not going to be released until it has to be released.
During the horrors of the Holocaust, Corrie ten Boom and her Dutch family, as told in her classic book.
Hold on. Oh, yeah. And this guy just loves Israel, by the way. So this is another, look at this. Yep. Yep. And I'll show you another clip where wait, is Frank gone? No, there he is. All right.
And so I just say that just out of my love for Charlie, I want TPUSA to thrive wildly. And I know by God's grace it will. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Erica is obviously the right choice to follow Charlie. She's inspirational in her own right. And she's going to do everything she can to make sure that Charlie's legacy continues.
What legacy is that, Frank? What legacy is that?
To be with her the other night at a Megyn Kelly event in Phoenix. Megyn invited me to come and speak briefly about Charlie and offer a prayer. And so Erica was there, and so was Andrew, and so was Mikey. And they're all just laser focused on making sure that Charlie's legacy continues. So continue to pray for them. Andrew and Mikey are doing as best they can, along with Blake Neff on Charlie Kirk's show to keep that going. And it's still going well. I mean, it's got great ratings. People are watching, and because they're smart guys, Charlie called Blake his secret weapon because Blake is a brilliant guy. And now he's spent a lot of time on the air. Erica, of course, is grieving, but she is still brilliantly focused on the job that needs to be done. She is not going to allow her husband's legacy to go the wrong direction or to fade away.
And yet that's exactly what she's done.
So I'm going to do whatever I can to help her. I know you will as well. And you're right, Eric. It's all spiritual warfare. As David Engelhart, you had on the other day, said, who's on the board of TPUSA, and he's a pastor. He says, wolves come in from the inside and there are attacks coming from the outside. They're all trying to tear things down.
Wait, quick question. The 6% of you that answered no to that poll, do you think he's evil then? You said no, you don't think he's retarded. What do you think he is then? Can you just throw it in the chat? Not a super chat, just the regular chat. For those of you that don't think Frank is stupid, what do you think he is then? If he's not stupid, what is he? Because there's 6%. If he's not stupid, what is he? He's evil and stupid. Okay. All right. Yeah. That's what I thought. He do an evil one. Oh, I should have added. Yeah, I should have, huh? Let's see. Charlie's legacy and revival. Let's see.
Natural forces, which has no ultimate meaning an early end to his life. But if God does exist, he allows evil because he allows free will, which allows.
All right, now he's just going to soapbox his whole argument that if God exists, which he does, and evil exists, and evil doesn't disprove. The presence of evil does not disprove the presence of God. All right. I wanted to go back here and finish some of this.
Years. And then his first wage, I think, was like
it was
20.
tiny. It was tiny.
15,000 the first year.
It was
20,
tiny. And I know
30,
that because mine was tiny too when I came over. It was like insane. And then the part of the show was that he was able to give back. So it cost Turning Point nothing for Charlie to run Turning Point.
Yeah, people don't know this. Charlie gave. There was this stupid AP article I'll never forget where they tried
I don't even want to give it.
I know, but they tried to make it sound like Charlie was somehow taking money from donors or something, or fleecing the donors. But here's the truth: Charlie paid back his salary and then some back to Turning Point every year. He donated back all that. Here's 1 second, guys. Gonna welcome back radio.
He was able to do something beyond anyone else. So there's great people that people admire a lot. Rush is one of those people, but Rush didn't build in his spare time a Turning Point USA, a Turning Point Action, and all that.
Oh, hold on 1 second. So let me read this super chat real quick, and then I want to tell you guys a couple things about this website and about another website that they've created. Aves. Okay, so we don't take this the wrong way again. We all know who killed Charlie. 9/11, JFK, Jeffy Epi, not you, Matt. Okay. Yeah, Israel. Yeah, that's who's behind all of those. Israel. Yeah. My opinion. It's my opinion, but yes, agree. 100% agree. Let me pull up this other website. So actually there's two. Just give me a second while I get it pulled up. I'm going to end that poll because it seems like I didn't word it right and you guys aren't fond of the poll. Oh, okay. All right. So on this website, I need to pull it up here. On this website, this is the Charlie Kirk exclusive, right? Under each video, it still says by Charlie Kirk. All right. Let's see. Where's the other? So here it says Charlie Kirk is live Monday through Friday from 12 p.m. Eastern until 3 p.m. Eastern. Okay. There's also a component here. I have to find where it's at. Oh no, every time I click on this, it takes me to another place. Yeah, this is, no, that's not the one that I was thinking about. There's another one where it says you can write to Charlie Kirk. And here it still talks in the present tense, right? Welcome. It says here, Charlie provides exclusive content beyond his daily show that defends freedom, as if he's still there, and then fights for Judeo-Christian values and keeps America in the know on what's really going on in the country. They should have updated this. And then there's another website called Charlie Kirk Legacy. .com. No, that's not it. No, that's not it. There it is. Right. And that on here, the reason why I'm pointing this out is because like what TPUSA is engaged in. And there, and I don't know how many people were here the other night to know that TPUSA is going back to UVU on 9/10 for a memorial Frank Turek is going to be there. Glenn Beck is going to be there. And who knows who else is going to be there. And I'm going to try to go. I'm going to try everything I can to go and see if I can ask some people some questions and maybe record it. So, but before I keep playing this, let me read this. It says, large photo banner hanging on UVU parking garage. The student is wearing gray Converse and is sitting on a roof or cement ledge. Large photo banner. Do you have a video or a photo that you could send to me? If you can email it to me at the Black Line Brief. Are you talking about like, yeah, I don't know what video or photo you're referencing. Is it like from the surveillance footage? Is it from somebody else's video or photo that they captured there that day? I'd love to see it. If you can email it to me at the Black Line Brief, theblacklinebrief@gmail.com. Actually, I think we made it past this part. We're past the shirts.
And in his death, and Trump said this beautifully actually this morning on Fox. I don't know what clip it is. I'm sure we have it.
We'll play that.
Yeah, that he's even bigger. He was huge, and now he's a worldwide icon. And
that's gross.
Before we get away off the
Trump
topic,
said it,
and I know there's a break. I want to piggyback on Tyler and just say thank you to the staff for being here today. And
their hearts are broken too. Guys.
Impossible task.
We and all of our Turning Point staff right now are at home with family as is expected. But again, for here,
well, that's not true. You guys told everyone to work, and if Erica Kirk didn't take any time off, how bad would a just employee feel like that? The wife, the widow, isn't taking any time off. How can I take any time off? That would look weird.
Being part of the show and honoring Charlie, I mean, that's just such a hard thing to ask people to do. And I can't thank you each enough.
Everybody behind the glass, seriously, thank you for being here.
Thank you to our amazing team. They really are amazing. And Charlie.
And then he turns around and fires them.
I love them dearly. Radio, we'll see you again in a couple minutes. We're going to keep streaming for a few seconds. And it was supposed to be designed so that if you had guests, it could fold out. And
Right.
But he just liked it like this
Well, no,
all the time.
wasn't it? We did
the profile shot of Tyler because he's looking at me when he's talking. So I apologize.
That's been everything on the show. That I'm always
I'm always
looking at Charlie
because that's Tyler's seat.
I know, and I
That's,
kept telling the studio, I was
fat.
like, can we get that camera?
Andrew's pointing out this is a blocking violation for film and TV.
It's worth it.
Yeah.
So
but we've kind of always done it. So
and I'm going to ask, let me ask you this when radio gets back on, but I was just talking we took a quick bio break, as they call it in the business. And I was asking the team, I was like, what do people want to hear right now? And the whole team is out there in the bays, and they were like, people want to hear stories about Charlie, and they want to see the behind the scenes stuff. And so I want us to share that with him and with the audience, our interactions with him. And I don't want to force you to start when we're going to be welcoming back national radio in about a minute. But that's there's that line in the Bible about Jesus where it says, there would be the writing of endless books about all the things that Jesus did. And
Yes.
I feel like, not to compare Charlie to Jesus, but his life is like that, where if you compile.
He compared Charlie to Jesus all the time, and he compared himself to and those around Charlie to the apostles.
All the little things that he did for all the tens of thousands of people that he interacted with, there would be no end of the books that we could write about his life. And
I bet you will.
That is it's like so true. Like that's not even at like 31 years on this planet, and that's not even a hyperbolic thing to say. That's not me exaggerating. Is a really remarkable feat. And so, Blake, I'm gonna go. We're just gonna go around the table. I was just gonna put you on the hot seat first, so it wasn't me. But we're gonna welcome back our national radio audience that Charlie loves so much in about 20 seconds. So hang tight, and we'll be right back.
All right, I'm gonna skip. Well, hold on.
Blake Neff and the great Tyler Boyer all gathered with myself, Andrew Kolvet, executive producer. Our team is telling us that people want to hear more personal stories that you wouldn't have seen if you didn't know Charlie. So Blake, the floor is yours. Tell us a story about Charlie that you think people would like to hear or that I haven't heard yet.
Man, I'm thinking of a few things.
It's really hard to come up with personal stories when you're not personal friends with someone, when you're just work colleagues, when you're just an employee, a coworker. It's really hard to come up with any kind of good personal story. I get his dilemma.
Gosh, personal stuff. I think one of the things that always impressed me about Charlie was his immense personal discipline about everything he did. He had
his discipline with work and yeah, okay.
You know, his day was very ordered. Everything he did was very ordered, and he didn't deviate from that. And if you asked him,
this is what he came up with when asked about personal stories about Charlie. Okay, these people were not friends with Charlie. They were not friends with Charlie. They were coworkers with Charlie. There's a difference
about that. He'd be like, "Well, this is the smart thing to do. Why would I do something different?" And the thing I'd always tease him about is the number of foods he ate, which is about 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Like I would joke about this, and I'm not exaggerating. The variation of food Charlie ate was like grilled chicken, avocado, hot sauce, like cabbage,
he wasn't
lettuce,
always like that. Like this
salmon, I guess. And I think he used to have beef, but I think he later like decided red meat was probably more
Tyler,
on the bad
when did
than
he
good
start
side.
doing that? He said it was like a couple years ago that he said he wanted to get back in fighting shape or something.
Yeah.
And
Charlie, as long as I've known Charlie, has always been very focused on what he puts inside his body.
Yes.
From day one. It was, I remember, because when I first met Charlie, I was skinny, and then I got, dad fat.
You got your road layer.
I got dad fat. I put on the pregnancy weight a few times throughout that cycle.
Campaign 30.
But Charlie was always, and he would always kind of yell at me, and Andrew, I'm probably sure you had some of these situations, Blake probably hasn't, but.
Oh, you emailed me a screenshot. Yeah, the reason why Tyler Boyer will have stories is because, yeah, he knew Charlie longer. He sure did, but he wasn't friends with Charlie. But no one else there is going to be able to pull together a good Charlie Kirk's story. Thank you for the gift. Emailed you a screenshot. All right, that's what I'm going to pull up right now. Okay, so I think your point is that is it interesting that on the parking garage there's a banner and a student is wearing Converse, right? And that ends up being the shoe that the supposed shooter wore that day. Yeah, I mean, also, if you don't know that the FBI, it's called the convict, or they called it something. The FBI did a full-on, like a whole course on Converse, on Chuck Taylor's, because statistically, it's like one of the most worn shoes that criminals wear in the commission of a crime historically. And so I found that to be more interesting, that the FBI would, in crafting this narrative and creating this psyop and this Patsy story, that they'd be picking the Converse, the shoes, the Chuck Taylors that they've done all sorts of studies on. They've done like actual shoe impression, studies and classes specifically on the Chuck Taylors. So, let's see. All right, my back is cramping. I want to play this, but before we do,
all right, everybody,
all right, let me pause this. All right, so before I play this, though, if you guys haven't done so already, please do me a favor and hit the like and subscribe. I appreciate it. All right, so we're at that part of the show where we're gonna show a Charlie Kirk clip, and we're gonna watch and remember Charlie Kirk.
You having fun here at the Chapter Leadership Summit?
This is from the Chapter Leadership Summit in 2025. So this is the summer of 2025. And this is from the archive footage. A lot of this is not publicly available on their YouTube channel or anywhere else.
This is a high energy group. I love it. I had we had this wonderful breakfast before. And who was at the breakfast? A couple people here. And I could talk about politics the whole time. Instead, I'm going to talk about something much more important. Well, which is date. Well, that's true. We'll talk about Jesus too. But I'm going to talk about. We're going to talk about dating, marriage, and kind of the state of all of that. You guys, that's more important than talking about. We can talk about politics the next couple of days, right? And so I'm going to have a very direct message for.
Wait, Zamet, hold on. What does that say? Hold on. Stay hydrated. Thank you so much. Jameson Social, thank you for the gift. And thank you for the gift. I don't know how to pronounce that. What now, Mom? Did I get that right? Hey, what now, Mom? Okay, Zamet says, thank you so much for the generous super chat, Zamet. Before Charlie Kirk, Yitzhak Rabin. Wait, I know I remember that name. Hold on. Yitzhak Rabin, 1922 to 1995, was an Israeli general and statesman who served twice as the prime minister of Israel, 1974 to 1977 and 1992 to 1995. He is widely remembered for evolving from a hardline military mastermind into an iconic champion for peace. Rabin was assassinated by a right-wing Jewish extremist on November 4th, 1995, following a massive peace rally in Tel Aviv. Oh, interesting. He was a Palmach fighter, Independence War, Chief of Staff, Six-Day War, U.S. Ambassador, First Premiership, Defense Minister. He's also participated in the Oslo Accords and the Peace Legacy, the Handshake, Historical Mutual Recognition, Nobel Peace Prize, and the Jordan Peace Treaty. Wow. Are you bringing that up because he was assassinated as well? Shot and killed by Yigal Amir, halting much of the peace process momentum. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Thank you for that. I didn't know anything about him. All right, let me continue to play this. Hold on.
For men, and then a very direct message for women. So I'll offend everybody in the room, and then we'll do questions. How does that sound? All right. But first, I want to say, you guys on the front line, starting Turning Point USA high school chapters, starting Turning Point USA college chapters, you are on the front lines of saving this country. And you look around, our numbers are increasing. We are happier. We are joyful. We love the nation, and we're going to defeat the left. It's just a matter of time. We're going to win this country. We're going to win.
Thank you.
And the energy in here is incredible. So I was sitting at breakfast this morning, and I would go to table by table, and I'd say, how many of you are unhappy with the dating pool? Raise your hand if you're unhappy with the dating pool. Almost every. Those of you not raising your hand, how many of you are in relationships? Almost every hand goes up, right? So I went to table by table, and people were saying similar things. They said, I just can't find a woman. I just can't find a man. That all people really care about is hookup culture. all people really care about is immediate gratification. And so I thought to myself, there needs to be a message delivered here at the Chapter Leadership Summit to men of what men need to do, and to women what women need to do, because it's the problem's on both sides. And I'm not going to say one side more than the other, even though I have some personal opinions on that, but you'll try to be able to guess. But more importantly, though, if we do not value the most important things, it should be, God should be the most important thing in your life. Jesus Christ is your Lord and Savior, most important thing. But then beyond that, it's getting married, having children, building families, leaving a legacy, doing big and great things. And that goes for everybody in this room. Right now, our generation, well, I'm a little bit older than you, but we're kind of in the younger demo. We are the most suicidal generation in history, the most anxious generation in history, the most medicated generation in history. And there's something seriously wrong where we are the least married generation. And also, we are less likely to have babies than any other generation prior to us. We have more comforts, we have more cell phones, we have more things at our disposal, and yet we are having less children, and we are literally not repopulating the species. So there's a lot of things going on here. The first and foremost is we do not value the ultimate thing. And that the ultimate thing should be loving God, loving people, and raising children in a society that follows God's commands against the culture, not in consistency with the culture, to stand, on my opinion, on eternal truths, fight for the country, fight for our civilization, and then also understand that you, especially as men, but women as well, you are obligated to do difficult and hard things. The West was built, our nation was built on delayed gratification, not instant gratification. That maybe I'm not going to go do what feels good in the moment. I'm going to forsake what feels good, and I'm going to parlay that into the future. Now, let's talk about this. So the dating pool is a complete catastrophe. Men are unhappy with women. Women are unhappy with men. And you're both wrong. Let's start with men. Men, very simple. If you are spending inordinate amount of times staring at screens, playing video games, and not being active and productive, that is deeply unattractive to women. Women, do you agree? If you are addicted to pornography or watching porn at all, stop doing that. If you are doing drugs and smoking weed, stop doing that. And I'll even go a step further. I personally do not drink alcohol. If you want to drink alcohol, that's fine. If you want to do that, that's fine. But if you want to be a high performer, Donald Trump doesn't drink alcohol. Tucker Carlson doesn't drink alcohol. I don't drink alcohol. It will set you back. Mornings will be a little bit more sluggish. You'll forget stuff. Nothing good happens after midnight while both parties are drunk. So if you want to have a life of ease, go keep drinking. But if you want to go do heroic and great stuff, maybe it's time for you to battle your flesh and not just always get drunk every single night and say, you know what? No, instead of drinking alcohol, I'm going to go to the gym. Instead of drinking alcohol, I'm going to hang out with friends and talk about deeper, more purposeful things. I'm going to go to a Bible study instead of a bar. Now, men, one of the most unattractive things that women tell us that they find in men is that young men have no self-control. Young men do not know how to control themselves. Ladies, would you agree? Oh, don't worry. I'm going to do the whole other side of this in a second, so you better be ready. You better be ready. They're like, oh, yeah. It's going to be an equal opportunity offender. Young men, you need to have a destination in your life. If you are on a date and a young lady says, well, what do you do? And you're like, it's like kind of meander. And I go on DraftKings and I own crypto and I don't know. And loser. Instead it should be, I'm studying this because of this.
Sorry.
I'm going to start a business. I'm going to work for this person.
I was trying to look at something in the chat. I was trying to go back. Somebody had sent me something. I was just trying to check back on it. I couldn't find it. So thank you for the gift. Zamit, Netanyahu versus Rabin. Like, Rabin seems to have been a good person, right? Like, he did have military and stuff in his background, but that he had shifted, right? And he wanted to pursue for peace, and then they assassinated, right? So Zamet, you like Rabin, right? In the comparison of what like he was trying to do with Israel right before he got assassinated by someone, by an Israeli, is kind of similar to what was happening with Charlie and why he was assassinated. Is that what I'm following from what I read about Itzhak Rabin? Thank you for the gift. Thank you for the gift. Harrison Smith posted on August 13th that he had been told by someone close to Charlie Kirk that Kirk believed Israel will kill him if he turns against them. Never denied by Charlie Kirk or TPUSA. Correct. Yeah. And I think that's still up somewhere on X. Let me hit play and I'll find it.
I want to be able to make this much money by this period of time to provide for a family, and I don't care how hard it gets, but I'll provide for you and provide for the kids, and I'll be the protector and the covering over the family. Follow me because I'm going to lead us. That's what they want to hear. And let me tell you, there are voices out there that say, oh, young men, all modern women are garbage and just use them for sex and just use them for pleasure. And that's BS. And I'm going to tell you, you cannot be a Christian and believe that. Are there problems with modern women? Yes. But our Lord and Savior came to this earth because God could have just teleported Jesus Christ right onto the earth.
Okay. Check who killed Rabin. I did. I read it. It said that he, where does it say that? Where was it? Shot and killed by Yigal Amir. So I should look up Yigal Amir. Yigal Amir is a right-wing Israeli Jewish extremist who assassinated Israeli Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin on November 4th, 1995. The event, Amir shot Rabin at the conclusion of a massive peace rally in Tel Aviv. The rally supported the Oslo Accords. The motivation, as an ultra-nationalist, Amir deeply opposed Rabin's peace negotiations with the Palestinians. He believed ceding biblical lands endangered Jewish lives. And you know that there is a speech that before JFK was elected, he actually proposed for a two-state solution and reparations for the Palestinians. Did you know that? JFK gave a speech before he was elected advocating for a two-state solution and reparations for the Palestinians. Yeah, and he realized that that was not received well, and he never brought it up again. But JFK did not want anything to do with Israel, did not want them to have nuclear power, did not want them to have nukes, wanted them to be registered as foreign agents. And then after the assassination, Lyndon B. Johnson comes in and undoes all of that. Everything that JFK was trying to do with Israel. And he wanted to, in his second term, if JFK would have been elected for a second term, and if his brother would have been elected for the first term, he would have done it in his first term. He would have advocated for and pushed for a two-state solution and reparations, and for Israel to get uninvolved with the United States. One of the main reasons why JFK was assassinated, in my opinion, has to do with the relationship with Israel and his stance on Israel. And he opposed it. He was Catholic too, right? He was opposed to Zionism and opposed to their involvement in other countries, war crimes, what they were doing to the Palestinians, and their involvement in the United States. Yeah. Lone gunman. Oh, okay. Is that what it said? Let's see. The official finding established by Israeli state-appointed Shamgar Commission in 1996 is that Yigal Amir was the sole triggerman, lone gunman, who acted as part of a small, isolated conspiracy driven by severe ideological and religious radicalization. The narrative structurally matches the lone gunman concept regarding the physical act, but officially acknowledges that he did not operate in a vacuum. The physical act. The commission concluded that, and this is the trigger, a lone gunman with accomplices. The commission concluded that Amir physically acted alone at the scene. He bypassed a severe lapse in security, approached Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin from behind, and fired the fatal shot, kind of like what they did to Teddy. The small cell, while he was the sole shooter, the official narrative rejects the idea that he kept the plan entirely to himself. His brother, Haggai Amir, and his friend, Dror Adonai, were officially convicted as co-conspirators for helping him secure weapons, manufacture special ammunition, and plan the logistics. And then it talks about the geopolitical catalysts, religious justification, and the environment of incitement as the path to radicalization. Let me read. I think another super chat came up. Did I read this one? Lone gunman, yes. Netanyahu and the Likud party held a mock funeral before Rabin or for Rabin. Hold on. Netanyahu, I'm going to Google this. Benjamin Netanyahu did march at the head of a protest where demonstrators carried a mock coffin. But he and his defenders have long disputed that he intentionally led a mock funeral for the prime minister. But he did. The incident in July 1995, Netanyahu, then leader of the opposition, the Likud party, marched at the head of a right-wing protest in Ra'anana against the Oslo Accords. Protesters directly behind him carried a full-sized black mock coffin and a hangman's noose. The protest was part of a broader wave of fiery right-wing demonstrations where some participants chanted "Death to Rabin" and held posters depicting Rabin in a Nazi SS uniform. The security warnings. Carmi Gileon, the head of Israel's internal security agency, Shin Bet, explicitly asked Netanyahu to tone down the inflammatory rhetoric, warning that the prime minister's life was in danger. Netanyahu declined to dial it back. Netanyahu's defense? Netanyahu and the Likud party have consistently maintained that the coffin was a symbolic prop representing the death of Zionism. Whatever, or the death of the Oslo Accords, rather than a literal threat or mock funeral for Rabin himself. Netanyahu has insisted he regularly condemned calls of traitor and murderer directed at Rabin, but maintained it was his duty to robustly oppose the peace agreements. Yeah, right, bro. What an evil dude. What an evil guy. Netanyahu.
But instead, our Lord and Savior came through a womb of a woman. Christianity values women.
Oh, I forgot to show you this. This is the post. Well, let me pause Ian Carroll. The post by Harrison Smith is, I'm not going to name names, but I was told by someone close to Charlie Kirk that Charlie Kirk thinks Israel will kill him if he turns against them. And then Ian Carroll reacts to the embarrassing clip of Charlie Kirk avoiding Nick Fuentes. I'm not going to play that.
In a proper biblical context. So some of the narrative that I hear at times from men that say, oh, I hate all women and they're not worthy of respect and honor. God used women all throughout the scriptures, whether it be Ruth or Esther.
We should play that clip right there of Charlie Kirk saying that about women, and then play the clip of Andrew Wilson calling all women the R word. Okay? I don't want to offend people. Sorry. If I did earlier, I wasn't trying to. Okay? The R word. Charlie is defending, and should, and rightfully, women and their roles in society and the respect and honor that they deserve. And then you have Andrew Wilson out here saying that all women are the R word. Totally different men. They couldn't be more different. Diametrically opposed. Fundamentally on opposite ends of the spectrum.
Esther, whether it be Deborah. And unfortunately, this is lost in a lot of the angst that young men have, that they'll say, I'm just done with all women. First of all, even if it's hard, maybe you should work to improve your own life to make yourself more attractive to the woman that you want to one day find. And
yeah, the 10 commandments only apply to, where did that go? Amongst the Jews. But have you heard of the Noahide laws? You guys know what the Noahide laws are? So, in Judaism, the Noahide laws are a set of 7 universal moral laws given by God as a covenant with Noah and all humanity, according to the Babylonian Talmud. While Jewish people are obligated to follow the 613 commandments of the Torah, all non-Jews, Gentiles, are only required to observe these 7 foundational laws to live a righteous, godly life and secure a place in the world to come as the slaves. Okay, I've read the Talmud. It is a radical text. Its views on everyone else is crazy. It's insane. Yep. I bet Zamet knows about the Noahide laws.
needs to be, the current modern state is that they want men to be women and women to be men. We know that. And they want men to kind of walk around in a beta state, kind of walking around in their sweatpants all the time. They haven't showered in 3 days. They sleep in till 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Nothing about that is interesting or attractive. Men, you know what your call to action is? Go do something hard. Go do something difficult. That means go wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning. Go for a run. And I'm going to go there. Men, there's no excuse to be overweight. It's not interesting or attractive to women. Seriously.
Yeah. And so, and he's about to say more, and it all applies to Andrew Wilson. I mean, come on, bro. What now, Mom? For health reasons, we stopped watching Charlie-related content, but we've watched you since you were small. My daughter heard your voice, looked at the TV. Oh my God, look at his whole setup. Proud of you here to support. Keep it up. Thank you. Yeah, I get told that my voice, I don't know, maybe you guys could chime in. Is it a compliment that I put people to sleep with my voice? Is that a compliment? That, well, okay, what precedes that statement typically is you have a very calming, relaxing voice, and like your tempo and like cadence and tone are very like calm and relaxing, and that people will put my channel on, my videos on, and they'll listen and they'll fall asleep to it. And so Let's see. Let's see what everyone says. Okay, where's the first one? Yeah, and I'm definitely going to read that book that was recommended too by Granny Loves Jesus right here. The Secret Founding of America by Nicholas Hagar. Candace had a book in her book club. It's eye-opening. I'm definitely going to read that. Let's see. Let's see. Wait, I'm shocked. No. Okay, it was a lovely comment. Your voice is soothing and very sultry. Okay, sultry. I like that. I use you as white noise. Your emoji's funny. It's a hot dog in his butt. Easy listening. Okay, it's easy to listen to and soothing. Yes, very good voice. Okay. Like it's not an anxious and the volume is stable. Okay. But your content is engaging, is completely engaging. Okay. Such a great live. Great people here. Yes. Yes. Like I can fall asleep to Coleman. Yeah. He's got a good voice. He's got a great voice too. I agree with that. And he does this stuff sometimes where he like, he does this like deeper. I forget which word it is that he says a lot and it makes his voice go deeper. It's crazy to see the video that, oops, I have something clicked on. I need to get rid of it. Oh, there we go. When Andrew Wilson tried to play a dig clip of Barron from like freaking 10 years ago, it's crazy because Barron even admitted he used to struggle with alcohol, and the older videos of him where he looks like he's holding a lot of water and weight, it was when he still drank. But that video of him from that clip that Andrew played was completely out of date and out of context. People are allowed to evolve over time, their positions. And there was nothing wrong with what Barron said. Barron said that he splits his ticket sometimes. Like so Andrew and TPUSA want everyone to just stay in the far right and the far left. But people aren't reduced to these far extremes. Most people find themselves somewhere closer to center. Like center, right of center, left of center. But the far extremes are typically reserved for those that are running the show and ruling us. And yes, some people get radicalized and they gravitate towards those extremes. But most people can understand that this whole like, I have to vote for my party's candidate because that's my party and that's my duty and I must. Well, what if there's no good candidate in that party? So like people do swing. Like I know people that voted for Obama that then voted for Trump, and people swing different sides of the aisle, not necessarily always because of the campaign, or campaign promises or the political parties' positions, but people vote sometimes for the candidate that they think is the best, or they vote for the candidate that they think is least worse than the other candidate. But Andrew Kolvet and Andrew Wilson wants to reduce everyone to these extremes. And everyone that's pushing this, no, you must be a good conservative Christian Republican by voting for the candidates that we put out and tell you to go vote for. And if you're not, and if you're questioning this system, which clearly has no political answer, okay, it's so sad to say that as a fact, not as an opinion. And I'm not trying to incite anything by saying that. It's just that our answer to the political issues of our country was voting Trump and J.D. Vance in. And look what it got us. And then they're going to swear that the next election, this next election, no, we can still resolve this issue and fix our country through the political system, through voting. No, we can't. No, we can't. I can't put my faith in any human being. Okay. I put my faith in God and Christ. To some degree, we've put faith in humans, in leaders. Like, okay, this guy is going to do the things he said he was going to do, and I trust him. My faith is that he's going to do those things, and we vote for him hoping that he's going to do those things. At this point, it's like, I don't trust anybody. And if Tucker and Marjorie Taylor Greene and Joe Ken and Thomas Massey are genuine and they don't get bought, paid, blackmailed, threatened, I don't know, then they probably just will never be allowed to make it all the way. The system will close down on itself, and it'll make sure that this third party, if it is truly for the people, by the people, it'll never be allowed to make it to the point where we get to vote for them. They'll never allow us to be led by true people that want to serve the people. That'll never happen. That's also why they killed Charlie. Charlie was going to come to understand so much more clearly that he had been duped, just like all of us. They could not let him stay on this earth for his eyes to be open that Trump and JD and that administration completely lied to him and lied to all of us and used him. And they lied to him and told him that if he doesn't do everything in his power to help get them elected, he's going to end up in prison, whether there was anything on him or not. If Kamala and whatever his name is, I forget that guy's name. He's so forgettable. The guy from Michigan, the weirdo, the weapons of war statement, that they would do anything in their power to put Charlie in prison, whether he did anything or not. And they lied to him that this administration was the answer to our country's problems, just like they lied to all of us. And that if Charlie would have been alive for the last 11 months, you better bet he would have been speaking out against the war, more about Israel, about Jeffy Epi, about Trump, and about JD Vance. And he would have realized that they weren't his friends and they lied to him. And then the next reasonable conclusion would have been, he needs to run. And he, even though he said he never had ambitions to run for president, I think he would have realized that there was no one else positioned to do it but him. And there's no way they could have allowed him to be alive to find that out and to walk into that destiny that God maybe would have had for him if he was still alive. That's my take on that. Did you get my email last night with the link to the Brandon Straka hit piece on Candace? He did with Harrison Smith. Sent another one that Viva did. Yeah, I got it. Yeah. I just had to cover this stuff today, but yeah, I was watching these videos today in preparation for tonight's show. But tomorrow I don't have anything lined up. I have a debate. I completely forgot about that. Holy smokes. I need to write that down. I don't know if this guy's still going to do it. I got to reach out to him tonight. Okay, so if I still do the debate, I might have time to watch them before the evening show because the debate is supposed to be at 1 p.m. my time. If I don't get to watch it before tomorrow night's show, then I'll definitely watch it on Tuesday and incorporate it into Tuesday night's show. Do you like Brandon Straka? Max Frost, do you like Brandon Straka? I don't like Brandon Straka. I don't trust him. He's pushing the FedSlop narrative, and yeah, like his interview with Marjorie Taylor Greene, I didn't really appreciate. And I don't know if I trust Alex Jones and Harrison Smith anymore. It's just kind of, yeah. But I'll look at it. Yes, I will look at it. I'll watch them. And I did get them. I put a star on them so that they stay in my, what is that called when you put the star, when you click on the star? I am human. I was born on planet Earth, and I reject satanic labels that separate me from humanity. Amen. Who was putting a label on you? Who was putting a label on you, Zamet? Not yanking, just banking. On the Black Line Brief with Matt Surf Truth. Yeah. One of my old like emails and like names I would use for social media would be Matt Surfs 85. Christ is King. Yes, he is, Zamet. Thank you so much. But who was calling you? Who was labeling you something to separate you from humanity? Or are you saying that they're labeling like all of us in a way to separate us from humanity?
Go to the gym. Stop eating so much crap. Go on the Maha diet. Fast for a couple of days. Try keto. Eat a steak, not a soy protein latte. Everybody in this room can make yourself 5 to 10% more physically fit. Oh, Charlie, I'm just born this way. No. Look, everybody has their challenges or their struggles. Some people have metabolisms where they eat 3 pizzas and it disappears. I get it. There is no excuse, though. You can make yourself 10% more attractive in this room.
Always.
You can. You can go to the gym. You can fast. You can go on a better diet.
Yep.
You can decide, you know what? You know what's another good thing about not drinking alcohol? A lot of calories that you're no longer putting in your body. A lot.
A lot. He did the Trump. A lot. Yeah, Andrew Wilson, I think you need to watch this and maybe take some notes as to Charlie's advice for men. I think it would do you good. You might live longer. Smoking a couple packs in a 2-3 hour video, I don't know how that's good for you. And drinking nothing but beer all the time, I don't see that as being good for you either. And maybe lay off some of the pizza and the cholesterol, bud. If you want to be around. I'm hoping you covering the hit piece Straka did. Exposes him. Okay. My other email. Okay, cool. 2 explains how we need to be laying into Alex for turning sideways. I agree with that. I definitely agree that Alex went sideways, and I don't trust him at all. I haven't been following Harrison Smith lately, but I definitely don't trust Alex Jones and Brandon Straka. I'll definitely watch them, okay? Like I said, I got to email this guy about a potential debate tomorrow at 1 p.m. regarding the evidence about Charlie Kirk, so that might be happening still tomorrow. I need to email him. I haven't talked to him in like a week. And then if that happens, I won't have time to I'll have to prep it probably tonight, and I don't know. I'll have to figure that out. But for sure Tuesday, it'll be on my to-do list for Tuesday. I wrote it down. Okay.
And for men, make yourself so desirable.
Wait, I didn't read your super chat. Wait, where is it? Okay. What now, woman? Matt, you didn't read my super chat. Ricky, my 10-year-old, waiting to hear it before you go to sleep. Oh, snap. What a woman, or what now, mom? This one? Mic drop? Finger heart? 6-7? Is it that one? 6-7? 6-7? Stay hydrated. All of these other ones, it says that I read them. Did I get it? What am I missing? This one? For health reasons, we stopped watching Charlie. I read this one. We stopped watching Charlie Kirk related content, but we've watched you since you were small. My daughter heard your voice, looked at the TV and said, "Oh my God, look at his whole setup. Proud of you, here to support you." Was it that one? Envelope? Envelope? I think I got them all right. Or wait, clapping seal? The other one I sent. Okay, that's about an email, Max. Okay, hold on. I'm trying to find. Okay, I think, let me see. Did I get it now? The kid, your son wanted to hear 6-7. Did I get it? 6-7. 6-7. There you go. Did I nail it? I read the one about the not watching Charlie for health reasons. Night night. Feel so ghosted. Wait, did I not read it? Wait, don't. You got it, Matt. You got it. Okay. 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 Because the only other one was this one, right? And I just read that, right? Love the setup. Look at his whole setup. Proud of you. Here to support you. Keep it up. That was the only one. That was the only other one I didn't read. So hopefully I got it. These ought to be playing on the Charlie Kirk show also. Okay, so Zamet, check this out. This is what I'm telling you. They put all of his stuff behind a paywall. Let me show you. So it's called Charlie Kirk Exclusive. All right. Oh my goodness. Why is it taking so long? Hold up. Okay. So Zamet, on here, the Charlie Kirk exclusive, this is where they're hiding content. So here, from the archive, okay, the red ones, from the archive, okay, and they hid everything behind a paywall from the archive. And so you have to pay a membership to see a lot of the ones that they don't want you to see, and any of the hidden or the archived footage of Charlie.
Women want to be with you. What does desirable look like? It doesn't mean you have to go look like a supermodel or an actor. Women want piety in a man. They want someone that will say, you know what? Let's go to church together. Let's not just go to some.
Do you see piety in Andrew Wilson? Do you? I don't. The other one I sent is Viva on Alex's show doing a hit piece on Candace. Alex allowed it, just like Harrison allowed Straka. Okay, yeah, now I'm definitely I need to make so many reminders. I have so many things going on. So it's Harrison with Straka and Alex with Viva Frey. Yeah, hit piece. Candace Owens. Okay. Yeah. And let me just double check that I did star them in my email. Okay, I got it. Cool.
Degenerate kind of environment. Do you know one of the things that women want more than anything else is they want the confidence and the security that when life gets difficult and when life starts falling apart, that man will lead them towards security and stability. Because deep down, women have a very well-built and finely tuned, God-given instinct that they'll be able to tell in a man when the bullets start firing, is this guy going to protect me and protect my kids? And is he going to provide, or is he going to run for the hills? And for you as the man, you need to be able to demonstrate that. And it's in ways you might not imagine. And let me just give you some other practical advice. Men, if you go on a first date with a woman and you split the check, we got serious problems. I don't care if you have to go into debt, refinance your home, or scrub the dishes for 3 weeks. You do not allow a woman to pay on the first date. Period. Period. Oh, Charlie, I don't have the money. Figure it out. Get a job. Borrow money. Take out a loan on a credit card. I don't care if you don't have $41 to cover her meal. What is more important, the money in your pocket or the character in your heart? And don't worry, I'm almost done with the mail.
And he's completely against credit, okay? Like he did a whole thing with Tucker Carlson on credit and buy now, pay later. That's not what he's saying. He's simply saying, like, if you're interested in a woman and you want to take her on a date, do what you have to do to take care of that woman and honor her and respect her and have traditional values. Okay. Do what you have to do to make sure you have money to pay for the date and that the woman shouldn't pay for the date. So that just, I didn't want anyone to freak out that he's like, go take it on credit and borrow and take a loan out. He's not for that. He's just talking about men stepping into their roles as traditional Christian men in society, and that women should be cherished and valued, respected and honored, and there for us to take care of. And yeah. And I have 3. So I understand. 1,000,000%. Let's see. Did I get to everything? We can finish this clip later. I have this knot in my, like right in between my shoulder blades, and it's not going away. And it's so painful. So I need to go lay down. All right, you guys. Thank you guys. Oh, wait. Please do me a favor, hit the like and hit the subscribe if you haven't done so already. Please write a comment, throw an emoji in, and hype the video for free. Those are the best free ways to help support this channel. Also, check us out on the homepage of my YouTube channel. It has all of my links to all my other platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube Shorts, X, Instagram, Twitch, Kick, Rumble. I think I got them all. I think that's all of them. Different ways people view on different platforms, okay? But, yep. Stay tuned for my links for tomorrow. Stay tuned if there's gonna be a debate between me and I don't want to say that he's holding up the official narrative. He does not like Candace Owens. He believes that Tyler Robinson is the lone gunman, and I'm maybe debating him tomorrow at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time here on the Black Line Brief, and then I'd also have my normal show at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. All right. God bless you guys so much. Love you guys so much. Oh, keep praying for Mystic. She's doing good. She's stable. I'll update you more when I have more to say, because that's all I can really say right now. She's stable. Keep praying for Mystic. Love you guys. Have a great night. God